Yeah. What's up, y'all? Happy Easter. Happy Keister. Joel Brogan back, baby. What's good? I've been up since 5 tomorrow, and I cook. Or you have to be up at 5. Are you cooked? Well, if you get to bed now, and just close your eyes and take some deep breaths through your nose for 5 seconds, and then release it through the mouth, and eventually your body will fall asleep doing that pattern pretty slowly. You'll be good. We can all, I mean, the nice thing about getting the one good thing about getting no sleep is the fact that then the next day's sleep is how you will be really good. You'll pass out. Retro Duo, welcome back for 14 months. Says we need more gaming live streams. By the way, happy Easter and 420. I thought about doing it last night, but then my friends came over for Easter. Also, 420 to everyone that celebrates. Galactic bitch, she's celebrating Hitler's birthday. How dare her? We will find her. We will scream on her Twitter. This guy with the 2 says, missed that last live, cool cat. I was in Dreamland. Oh, no worries. I started really late tonight because, you know, the holiday. I've literally been to like, I've been to four houses today. It's crazy. Grandparents, friends, family, and then another friend's. Wart. He has risen. He has risen me up indeed. Joel started an hour late because he got way too high. That's true. I got scared. I got scared if I started the stream, you guys would spook me with jump scares. You guys would jump at me like golden Febby. Fozbear. But I'm feeling pretty glocky.
What's up? How you feeling?
Oh, okay, we're good. That's fucking stupid. We good? Slap him with the chat fixed. Alright, let's go, dude. We lost everybody, though. That's fucking cringe. Well. Happy 420 anyways. We're so back, baby. I have risen like Christ. I hath returned. You cannot kill me. When Jesus died, he went down into the depths of hell to fight the demons like the Doom guy. How did I fix it? I was patient. Patient like Christ. I'll be honest, I don't know what the fuck. But maybe I'm not supposed to know what the fuck sometimes. We're so back. Anyways, how you guys doing? Anybody do anything fun for Easter? Guess who's back, baby? It's not back on Twitch. Let's check. Are we back on Twitch? Yep. Wait. Yep, we're back on Twitch. Not that it matters, because we get 3 viewers over there. Whereas here we get hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of people are here right now on the stream. I went to the powwow and saw the Minecraft movie. Oh, that's awesome. So wait, powwow, is that family fun? And then Minecraft movie? That sounds like a perfect day, dude. Eat some shitty food and just like go watch a movie. I just worked on a bunch of clay sculptures. Oh, that's cool. What did you make? I went to my brother's and helped him hide the Easter eggs. Aw, that's fun. Yeah, I got to hide some Easter eggs with my buddy for his kids. It was pretty cute. I had this one where it was like, so it's like a little small basket, and it was flipped upside down already in this one area. So I thought, okay, I'll hide an egg under there, and nobody found the egg. And I was a little bit disappointed that like nobody would just think to like lift it up and look under it, but I guess you have to hide it in plain sight. More Bigfoot videos? Yeah, they're coming up, don't you worry. We just have to find them first. Just woke up from a nightmare. What was your nightmare about? Pretty glocky. Wonder if me playing that glocky video actually fucked my internet up or something like that. Dropped frames detected 30% over the last 2 minutes a few seconds ago. Dropped frames. What does that mean? It crashed again? What? Brother, what the fuck is going on, dude? What did I do? Hello? What if we closed that and just went to it? For a second it did. Why would I lose frames on Streamlabs? Hit Control, delete. Yeah, we're just gonna blow everything up. Lower your bit rate. Yeah, but I mean, like, I optimized my bit rate. And I reset my router too, though. Latency, I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't really know if that's the reason. Like, would that just mean that my internet's, like, having a dog shit moment? Frame skipping doesn't matter unless you're showing visual content, though. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, that's so fucking annoying. Do you think someone could be doing, like, I don't know, some sort of attack? A cyber attack. Rendering lag, GPU overload, your graphics card is working too hard. Game plus Streamlabs plus effects. Where do we even check that? Man, I don't like checking, like, I don't like having performance issues in the middle of a stream, because, I mean, it doesn't seem like any of that's having an issue. Like, the GPU's at, like, 8%. It's not working hard. I'm getting hacked. About 10,000 portals to go through, and they went through every one. The stream is still working for me. How are you, Joel? I need a lives tonight. I've been having a hard time this last week. No worries, I got you, dude. What's the weather like? Is it stormy? I don't think so. And even that, I don't think it should really matter that much, but I guess maybe there's like a rat having sex with a cord or something. Alright, well, that kind of takes the steam out of things, but we're going to keep going. We got, hey Joni, we got freaking swimming pool stories tonight, kind of an interesting topic. We're getting into the warmer weather there. Anybody getting really warm weather where they're at? This is pretty important. I need to collect your data. Twitch has a glitch. What's the glitch, Terry? Maybe I should just not stream on Twitch. Maybe fuck Twitch. Honestly, maybe fuck Twitch. Do you think that would make more sense? I posted a picture of me smoking from a bong. I felt like a rebel. Probably looked like a dork. Yeah, probably, I guess, you know? Yeah, rats having sex with things in proximity to the router can cause some, yeah, like some sort of electromagnetic burst of cream. Rat cream. I know that's what's happening. What's up, Sam? It's going to be 80. Nice, dude. In Michigan, that's pretty hot. It's either hot or hotter. Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay, well, shite. Whatever. I don't know. Let me know how the stream goes. Maybe there was something, maybe just me playing a YouTube video was like screwing me over. I don't really know. Honestly, I can't imagine it would be in that bad, but I guess there's no point in overthinking it. We just keep going. Joel Cena. Did you read my membership milestone? Because Twitch has been on and off. I didn't see it pop up, dude. Oh, there it is. Holy shit, I'm so sorry, Terry. Thank you for 35 months. This is happy 420, dude. Any chance of an Easter egg in tomorrow's vid? Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. Yeah, we can do that. Do you want me to, like, make it a surprise or just, like... Or do you want to think of the Easter egg so it will be yours? Balls. You almost had a heart attack today? How come? I attended a charter school in Minnesota in the early 90s, back when the type of school was... I attended a charter school in Minnesota in the early... And I don't know why that's not, like, flowing. I need to, like, warm up. I attended a charter school in Minnesota in the early 90s, back when that type of school was really popping off. A new one had opened the year before I was due to start school, and I guess it appealed to my parents. In my memory, this school was in a converted large house or... In my memory, the school was in a converted large house. Converted large house? I don't know why that sounds weird. Converted large... Just say mansion or something. Converted large house. Bear in the large house. Bear in the big large house. What is happening? Yo, sorry. Your blood pressure was 150 over 98. Wait, what do you mean? Or, okay, you had it. But why would you have a heart attack from that? A new one had opened the year before I was due to start school, and I guess it appealed to my parents. In my memory, the school was converted in a... In my memory, the school was in a converted mansion, but I was about 5, so who knows how accurate my memory of this place is. I remember it being a damp and musty place with a small number of students. Us little kids were on the first floor, then the classrooms for older kids were on the next floor up, then the teachers' rooms above that, and an attic. As you move through the school system, you move from classrooms deeper into the building, I guess. I didn't stay at that school long enough to have classes on the second floor, so I don't remember what they were like. I do remember being in the attic once or twice, though. Maybe one Christmas, and I can't remember why, but thinking about it makes me feel weird and unsettled. I hate it when someone says, now for a bit of backstory, but you need to learn... God damn it. You thought The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania, but then you got screwed. You're still having issues on YouTube? Yeah, I don't fucking know, man. It pisses me off, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't know, dude. I feel like I do everything in my power to, like, get the best possible internet, the best fucking everything, and then it just, like, still has, like, dog shit issues for whatever reason. But yeah, I guess you just need to restart. I hate it when someone says, now for a bit of backstory, but you need to know a little bit about the family that ran the school. There was our principal, Mr. Howe, and Mrs. Howe. There was our principal, Mrs. Howe, and she ran the school. If you've ever seen the old British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, that's exactly what Mrs. Howe looked like. She could have been her twin, honestly. Then there was her husband, Mr. Howe, and looking back, I had no idea what he did at the school. He was like some kind of businessman. He'd occasionally teach us children's subjects, but I don't think he was actually a teacher by profession. He was a weird guy. I remember him being ridiculously tall, with lanky, thin hair. Tall and lanky. He was a weird guy. Fuck it. I'm just gonna put the rest of it in chat BBC. This is annoying. It's no big deal. It's just easier to see in there anyways, too. Hey, what's up, Lori? Damn. It's always really annoying whenever, like, there's a technical issue, because it kind of just, like, sucks the energy out of my mojo. You know what I mean? You're, like, feeling good, and then something's like, I can't work anymore. I'm a robot, and it's just, like, not happening for me. But I'm also pretty reliant upon you guys to give me content by saying things into my face. Captain Anizel with the 1 month says, what the hell is a member milestone and why does my Johnson still not work? You monsters. What have you done to me? Well, I have been watching a lot of, I finished it, Season 3 of Love on the Spectrum. Also this weekend I watched this one episode of Black Mirror, and it was a pretty fascinating episode about, like, it was like the 1950s era, you know, classic sci-fi era, and there were, like, robots, or not robots, but, like, astronauts up in space in orbit, and they would jump into this thing, and then they would transfer their consciousness into a synthetic version of themselves. It was kind of interesting. John Cena, 17 times champ, the GOAT. Thank God, dude. After 16, I was worried he wouldn't get the 17th. Zip energy for you, Joel Mama. Zip energy. I remember having this, like, energy drink called Zip Energy, and it was, like, menthol flavored, and it was so disgusting. Do I watch Formula 1? I don't, no. You just started Season 3 and saw the nudist thing you were talking about. Yeah, it was so random. I was like, I don't know. I have, like, this secret theory that the guy Kian, not to put him down or anything, but he, like, starts to ask the people in the show if they're, like, into sexual stuff, and I'm just like, Kian, what the fuck are you asking them weird shit like that for? Let alone, like, I mean, I get it. It's like a dating show. Maybe people are bored or something, and you gotta, like, spice it up or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems really weird. Do I watch wrestling? I don't, no. I've seen some of it, and it's pretty entertaining, but I just never really got into it. You just encountered your first brown recluse. Oh, damn, dude. Yeah, those are pretty scary. They usually don't do anything, but, like, they are kind of, like, terrifying little spiders, because they just move so quickly. Sha. Pocket sand, pocket spider. He was a weird guy. I remember him being ridiculously tall and lanky, thinning hair and wet, watery eyes. He'd mumble and sort of stutter, but if he got mad at you, then he got really mad. His face would go red, and his eyes bulged when he yelled. We were all a bit afraid of him, but also kind of disgusted, I guess. He just had this air of being gross for some unknown reasons. Mrs. Howe, I remember being pretty stern, and then occasionally really nice out of the blue, especially to me. She gave me a Christmas present once, and I never understood why at the time. None of the other kids at the school got a Christmas present from the principal. The Howells had 3 kids, and one of them, Wally we'll call him, was in the same class as me, and I guess these days you'll call him special needs. He was really clumsy, a little gangly kid who was happy all of the time, except when he'd inevitably hurt himself in some accident or another. Then he'd howl and bawl for a hot minute, and you always knew that he was entering the classroom because he'd somehow managed to crash through desks and chairs and send everything flying. Then there was the middle child, who I guess must have been a high schooler. She was only around occasionally, after classes and during weekend events, and anything where I guess her parents dragged her along. She was a pretty standard 90s goth-looking girl, and as a little kid I knew nothing about her. She was just kind of there. Then there was the oldest son, Dom. He was in his early 20s and was back from college after graduating around that time. We didn't think anything of it as... If you want some energy, try some pickle-flavored Peeps. Oh, that sounds disgusting. I did see Dr. Pepper-flavored Peeps today. Someone got... I didn't get to try one. Do you ever get freaked out by some of the stories you read, like, that shock you? Not really, I guess, anymore. I mean, it kind of, you get used to it. You know, in Japan, around a golf costs $12,000. You play from rooftop to rooftop. The balls are made out of rice somehow. And when you're done, you get to go home and sleep in a tube. You get to go home and sleep in a tube. If you want some energy, try my Adderall. My one friend offered me Adderall one time, and I was like, I don't think I should do that. Because I was kind of worried, like, what if I liked it, you know? And then I get addicted, and then I become schizophrenic. Rusty Shackelford. We didn't think anything of it as kids, but he was hanging around that school all the damn time. Just the principal's adult son, lurking around an elementary school. He was a normal guy, although also extremely tall. And almost every memory I have of the 2 years that I spent at that school, he was around. Sports day, Christmas feast. Sports day, Christmas festival, bake sale, even during the school weeks. I don't know if I'm remembering his looming presence more than it actually was, but you can see this... God damn it. I don't know if I'm remembering his looming presence more than it actually was, but you can see how this is weird. Sorry. Fuck, man. Have you played Borderlands 3? I have not. I did see Borderlands 4 was coming out soon. Are you guys excited about that at all? I don't know if I'm excited. Did you have a poop in your high school? A poop. A pool. Oh, yeah. Somebody pooped in the pool in high school. We did have a pool. Yeah, it was interesting. It was indoor, and we would have like gym classes based around it. But it was kind of weird. It was like our gym classes that we had based around it were like in middle school. So you would drive on a bus to their like designated gym thing based around like, but it was like during middle school. And then like, I don't know, I assume the swim team used it in high school. I never swam in high school, but it was a pretty sick pool. It was really huge, but it kind of sucks that like when I was little, the only thing I liked to do was put on like snorkels and like flippers and just go like, just swim underneath the water. That was just the coolest shit to do. And at that point, any other variation of doing activities within the pool just like could not compare to floundering around like a Navy SEAL or some shit. Just because like I think eventually you had to do, maybe it was, I don't know when it was, but I remember the worst part was like, I think maybe actually in gym class you did have to do swimming in high school. And it was like you had to do, I sucked at swimming. It was so bad. Like, I was genuinely not built for that. And, like, you would have to do all these different, like, strokes, breaststroke and backstroke, but I was just straight jorking it, you know what I mean? And it was just not fun. Like, I feel like if you're gonna get in the pool, you shouldn't have to do, like, any sort of, athletic shit. Unless you're doing, like, a sick-ass flip off the diving board. Yeah, it was about as close to scuba diving as possible. It's 4:20 and smoked haven't in like 6 years, excuse me. Oh, nice, dude. 4:20. Well, it's 4:21 now, so you're kind of late. A hint, it was me. I don't know if I'm remembering his looming presence more than it actually was, but you can see how this is weird already, right? They were a weird family, but of course, a little kid doesn't really pick up on things like that or consider how odd it is to have both a weird husband and a weird adult son just hanging around your school all the time. Eventually, I did find it weird, though, and then eventually, terrifying. This school also had a pool. The school was in the countryside, just past suburbia, so there was a lot of trees around the outskirts of the grounds. The pool was an outdoor pool built in a forest canopy, just down a path from the play areas where we had recess, and to the right of the school playing field. Jesus Christ, why does that not flow out of my mouth? Playing field. Your thumbnail with the deer head reminds me of the dream I had a couple of years ago. I have premonitions sometimes, and this deer creature was the first premonition in a dream. It's so creepy. Oh, okay, that's the Appalachian stories, which, yeah, that video did gang boosters. There's always a joke in my high school that there was a pool on the 3rd floor, but we only had 2 floors. That'd be kind of sick on the roof or something. Hey, thank you, Miz. Good to see you. The pool was an outdoor pool built in a forest canopy, just down a path from the play areas where we had recess, and to the right of the school playing field. That first summer at the school, we didn't use the swimming pool at all, and all I remember, all us kids being super disappointed after we'd been so excited to see when it would... What the fuck? Why does that not... The first summer at school, we didn't use the swimming pool at all, and I remember all us kids being super disappointed after we'd been so excited to see it when we originally started. Wait. Super disappointed after we'd been so excited to see it. Okay, sorry. It's not a lot to unpack. It's just like my brain can't like jump from thing to thing for some reason. Water aerobics is way more fun than swimming. Jumping around with old folks to disco music in the shiznit. That does sound chill. Do you get like much of a workout doing that? Just kind of like dancing in a pool with like where it kind of like minimizes any sort of resistance. I mean, it would be sick. It's good activity and definitely low impact. I just feel like you wouldn't get much workout. Wendy needs an Easter basket. She could use one. She's a bit sad. Oh, you also do weights. I guess that would minimize the effect of the weights as well, because it's all like lessening the gravity. Hey, see ya, Shannon. Take care. Ever been snorkeling in the ocean? I have, yeah. I remember going snorkeling in Hawaii. It was kind of sick. There was so many like various cliff diving areas in Hawaii, and people would just do nuts things. And it was kind of cool too, because like the cliff water would sometimes like kind of come up higher, you know what I mean? Because of just how the tides would move and stuff. And so like if you jumped off the cliff and timed it right, the distance in which you had to travel from the top to the bottom was like less because you timed it right, and it was like almost safer that way because you were like less likely to be landing in the ground or whatever. But I just remember like while my friend was cliff diving, I was doing some snorkels, and it was just this really, really weird, uncomfortable feeling where like I couldn't really see much out of my peripherals because the water was like this weird type of cloudy, but also kind of blue, and I just sort of kept expecting like some dumbass fucking barracuda to come out of nowhere and like bite me in the face. Thankfully, that did not happen. But yeah, I've always just been irrationally afraid of sharks in the water for so long that I would just rather never do it. Mr. Worldwide. You love sharks? Oh man, I would rather just never deal with them. I see what they did to the USS Tennessee or whatever the fuck. They just ate everybody. Those reef sharks. Or was it like a white-tipped reef shark? They just tore everyone apart. That first summer at the school, we didn't use the swimming pool at all. And I remember all us kids being super disappointed after we'd been so excited to see it when we originally started. The second year, though, it was a really hot summer beginning in early May, and they hired people to come and clean the pool and give it an overhaul. It was a huge deal. Everyone was excited about the pool finally getting to be used again. It had become a bit taboo. We'd get yelled at massively if we went to the pool area when we weren't supposed to, which I guess is fair enough because it would have been dangerous if anyone fell into the uncovered pool. It was always uncovered back when we didn't use it and filled with leaves, tree branches, insects, and very foul, disgusting water. So instead of buying a cover or hiring a pool cleaner, they just instilled this fear of God into us not to go near it. But then they cleaned it, got an actual cover, and we could go near it again. We had swimming lessons overseen by various teachers, and there was a recreational swimming club held on Thursdays where we could just play in the pool with floats and toys. The dressing rooms from the pool We had swimming lessons overseen by our various teachers, and there was a recreational swimming club held on Thursdays where we could just play in the pool with floaties and toys. The dressing rooms for the pool were 2 small shacks under the tree line, boys and girls. They were old buildings. I had no idea what the school was before it was a school, but the changing rooms felt like they came from that time. Despite being a fairly expensive charter school, they didn't spend much money on upkeep as far as I can remember, and I guess cleaning the pool exhausted their pool budget because the changing rooms were absolutely foul. You had to be really careful not to sit on or brush against the benches because they were wooden and splintery. There were spiders and other insects all over the place, and it was just icky and gross, and oftentimes, if we had swimming, we'd just wear our swimsuits. I've got a gorgeous voice, thank you. I was kind of like at a fire tonight, and the people at the fire, whenever I talk, they're like, "You sound like AI," and I'm like, "Thanks, dude. Appreciate you." Being called AI in real life is, I don't even know if I should be offended by it at that point. But it did kind of make me feel like oddly uncomfortable deep down, where I'm like, maybe I'm just some like stupid robot that they made a long time ago. Shorn, what's up, dude? You want to go visit Australia and not swim in the ocean? Matter of fact, I don't want to go to Australia at all. There you go. Save yourself some time. The sort of voice you want in gay erotica but never get. Yeah, that probably is my trajectory after my YouTube career. Directly to gay erotica. Often, if we had swimming, we'd just wear our swimsuits to school that day under our clothes, so it was just at least quicker to change and get into the pool. We also had a rule that we weren't allowed to lock any doors at that school ever. This was because one kid had gotten themselves locked in the bathroom stall for the entire lunch break and had a panic attack. So instead of fixing the locks and improving things, we were just told to not lock any doors so we wouldn't get stuck anywhere. We didn't even consider locking the dressing rooms or anything because of this, even though they had old bolt type locks. Fuck, man, I like run out of breath. You have a great form for this. Love your stories. Be too busy to listen, but still feel calmer from your voice. Thank you, friend. Good to see you. We will keep you calm. We didn't even consider locking the dressing rooms or anything because of this, even though they had old bolt type. Oh my god. We didn't even consider locking the dressing rooms or anything because of this, even though they had old bolt type locks. This is why Dom, the weird adult son that I mentioned earlier, was able to just stroll into the dressing rooms. I don't know why he, of all people, had been tasked with making sure that the kids were changed and ready for swimming. He would sometimes oversee us in the pool, but again, he was just the principal's adult son, not really a teacher. For sure, not something they'd get away with these days, at least I hope not, but in the early 90s at a charter school, absolutely, especially when you know certain things about this school that we'll eventually find out here. Now anyway, it wasn't at all. Now anyway, it wasn't at all unusual for Dom to burst in on kids changing. He even made a joke of it. He'd burst in and yell boo, and of course we'd all laugh at this. It was just a boy bursting in on other boys. He didn't do it to the girls. And I remember even back then I didn't like it at all, but at the age, I had my own issues going on and really struggled to vocalize discomfort or fear. This one particular day, we were coming up to the summer break and it was blistering hot out, a very sweaty day, and I was dragging my heels. The rest of my friends had really changed and were in the pool. The rest of my friends had already changed and were in the pool, and I was taking my time getting into my swim trunks. I hadn't remembered to wear them from home, so I was fully halfway through changing when the door creaked open. "Boo," Dom said. Oh, he just did it quiet. Any advice for turning 26? I don't know. Try to just, like, if you have a goal you want to accomplish, you know, like say you don't really want to work for people anymore, but you want to do creative shit, I say just go for it. I also suggest trying to get into like a lifting routine of sorts to like build muscle so that when you're, 80 years old, you can like sit down and take a shit and not worry about being able to get back up. But yeah, I mean, objectively coming to the conclusion right now at the age of 26 that you only get one life to live. I mean, I know I'm not terribly that much older than you at 34, soon to be 35, but this shit goes by fucking quick, man. Yeah, you don't have to be a musician or whatever, but try something. Any advice for turning 50? Hopefully you have some kids or some shit. I don't know. I really do find like investment shit, like, because people always say, oh, invest in your fucking... Invest. And it's like, yeah, there's certain things to invest in, like yourself, your whatever. But there's something about like a 401k that just like makes me sick. Genuinely makes me like sick inside that is our end goal. To just like save enough money so that eventually you can stop working at an old age. You're not really that happy anyways, and you're just kind of pulling from this thing sort of semi-comfortably, even though it's probably not going to be that much you pull from it. And it's like, just like, I don't know, it's just like the least exciting possible thing you could do with your life is save money. And I get it, people do it all the time, but at least if you're going to like invest in like a property, it's something to do, you know what I mean? You can like go manage the property and deal with the bullshit. And even if the tenants are like a pain in the ass, at least you had something to say about it, you know what I mean? But yeah, do something that makes you happy and have fun, and try new things if you can. So much shit is so boring. Holy fuck, I hate investing. I hate the fact that, I mean, I get why the stock market exists, but like, even if I got like the most like ahead of time invest now in this thing for the stock market, I might do it. But I also might tell them to go die because I just don't care. Happily married for 25 years, that's good. And what's that like? What's that been like for you? Being 30 isn't too bad. I'm 30 and I don't have any kids. I have a house and 3 cats. I'm happy where I am in life. That's good. Yeah. It's awesome. I'd say CDs at smaller local banks are better than bigger banks. Yeah. I guess, yeah. If you can get like, I don't know, what, 7% dividends or something like that. Any advice for being 25 and single my whole life? Is that what you want to be? Single your whole life? Oh, you've been single your whole life till 25. You know, it's no big deal. I mean, like, sometimes you're just single and then you meet somebody, like, good, and then you get married, and who knows, maybe it works out. Like, try to meet someone who's your friend and stuff, you know? Like, someone that you can be friends with for life. Because if you're not friends, you know, obviously that's going to be a pain in the ass, because you're not always going to want to fuck someone all the time, you know what I mean? You're not always going to want to have, you know, like, have sex all the time. But you will want to, like, have conversation all the time, you know what I mean? How do you meet people these days? It's random. I mean, you could go to, I mean, you're going to have to do something, you know what I mean? You're going to have to, like, go out of your way a little bit to do something. So I would say in the meantime, just grind at the gym with some sort of program, so at least you feel good and you feel like you are, like, looking better than you did before. Go to your work events. Go, maybe if you do something exercise related, you could leverage that to a community, whether it's like a jogging community or a rock wall climbing bullshit or a CrossFit club or a church or fucking something, you know what I mean? But you gotta do it. There's really no two ways about it. You can't just rot in your bed all the time and scroll on Instagram squeals all day. That shit's for fucking dead bodies. Yeah, you can meet them on an action figure collecting subreddit. That sounds chill. Why are people asking a horror channel dating love advice? Well, I guess in this situation I'm Joel, you know what I mean? I'm not necessarily horror channel. I do both. We do horror channel here stuff here, and we also do I yap about nothing and hope that it matters somehow. It doesn't, by the way. I don't know how to say this. Boo. 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 Like, his voice was quieter than usual. Boo. I hadn't remembered to wear them from home, so I was fully halfway through changing when the door creaked open. Boo! Dom said. His voice was quieter than... like Ken Kniff. Ken Kniff from Connecticut. How the hell do you know that? Like, actual Eminem reference is the greatest thing ever. Hey, it's Ken Kniff from Connecticut. To a whispered boo. It's the Joel Brogan experience. We talk about cryptids, life, love, hobbies, and RFK. RFK Jr. Boo. Boo, I scared the shit out of you, didn't I? Boo, Dom said. His voice was quieter than usual. I'm sure he knew I was alone in there, but I didn't think that at the time, of course. My heart was immediately, absolutely. Okay. My heart was immediately pounding. I'd only been alone with Dom once before, in the attic that previous Christmas, and he made me super uncomfortable and scared then, so he made me feel the same way now. Hurry it up, Ben, he told me. Everyone's out there playing already. I expected him to leave, but he didn't. The door had swung shut behind him, and he just stood there watching me with his arms folded. He was holding my swim trunks over the front of myself, and The only way that I could put them on was by doing it in front of Dom. This made me feel a coldness deep down inside my belly that I'd never really felt before, and I really didn't want to do this in front of him because he was an adult and the principal's son, and I didn't want to get in trouble I really didn't want to do this in front of him, but he was an adult and the principal's son, and I didn't want to get in trouble by saying anything either. Instead, I compromised and turned my back to him and quickly slipping the trunks up my... Okay. Man, I am not warmed up, and for some reason I can't fucking find my rhythm. Like a quick whispered short, boo, boo. Yeah, I don't even fucking know. There's confetti everywhere. If you did an audiobook from my childhood, scary stories to tell, that would be pretty sweet. Or Ken Kniff from Connecticut, scary stories. I really didn't want to do this in front of him, but he was an adult and the principal's son, and I didn't want to get in trouble by saying anything either. Instead, I compromised and turned my back to him, quickly slipping the trunks up my legs. Boo! Dom grabbed my shoulders. I hadn't heard him come up behind me, and in the split second it took me to realize what had happened, imagining him sneaking up on me while I was changing, I felt awful in a way that I cannot describe. I whirled around and fell backwards against the bench, which was rough and splintery and cut into my bare legs, and immediately I started crying because I was a little kid and I was scared and hurt. And Dom's face got angry. Hey, don't cry, he scolded. I was just playing a trick on you. Don't be a little baby. He reached forward and grabbed my arm, hard, and it hurt. He pulled me to my feet and around him. Again, it really hurt. I wasn't used to physical punishment, and I was worried that he was going to spank me or something. I don't know if I intentionally shoved him or he tripped or what. Now officially, he tripped, but of course he would say that because he wouldn't want to explain what he'd been doing to me in the first place. He stumbled backwards slightly and knocked against the flimsy wall of the dressing room. Suddenly I heard a sound that I wasn't expecting at all. A strange thwomp sound and then wild, strong buzzing. Someone had been knocked clear from the something had been.
Ken Kniff from Connecticut.
Who's your favorite people in Love on the Spectrum? Oh, good fucking question. Now that's what we're talking about, baby. Let's think. I like hot dogs, and I like eating macaroni and cheese, and I like eating peanut butter and jelly, and I like eating rats that I find crawling around my room. What do you like to eat? I like that guy. I forget his name. Alas, my stricken heart. Shall I fall down to the earth with my demi-goddess, or be stricken down into the depths of Hades below? Did I watch WrestleMania? No, I didn't. Maybe one day. I really should, honestly. James impression. What was James again? James was... I can't believe... I wouldn't even touch that. If I knew that it was coming anywhere close, would it be okay if I, came near your face and gave you a kiss on the cheek or anywhere near, round about this place, or... I shouldn't have done that. No, that's not it. That's good. Who else do I like on that show? Man, I feel like there was some of my favorites that I forgot. Oh, Adon. I'm in love with you, Adon. They're like, well, Danny, I love you too. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, shut up. So he says, like, he does like these OCs or these like characters in his head. Oh, I love the girl that's into trains or whatever. And what's her name? The train girl. She just seems so sweet and nice and happy, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Trains rock, bro. Oh, Abby, yeah, Abby and what's Abby's boyfriend's name? It's funny whenever when you see that they have an absolute perfect match, and just almost like instantaneously you know that they're gonna be like, you just know that they're gonna be like married. You couldn't stand the Tea Princess. I don't know, the Tea Princess girl, she was just so happy. She just was smiling, and she loved the train. And yeah, like, sure, like, it's a bit of an odd thing to be really into trains that much, but she was just happy, you know? She was just, like, so stoked to be around everybody, and they were her friends. And I'm like, that seems like a nice life. I should watch this show, though. Sounds like me. It's a great show, dude. It's genuinely so good. It's I think it's the most watched show on Netflix. I went to this Easter thing and brought the show up, and because I asked people what shows they've been watching, and they're like, oh, Love on the Spectrum, and then like every person at the table was watching Love on the Spectrum, and like immediately it was Conversation at First, Spectrum. Gonna pack a few bowls. Who wants one? I'll take a bowl. Bullerton. Also, Pradeep sleeping in his little bed at my feet. It's cute. A lot of people on the spectrum love trains. Yeah, but I was actually glad they got one specifically that really honed in on the train situation. It's just about people with autism and Down syndrome and stuff who go on dates and that kind of thing, and you kind of just get a peek into their world and their perspectives, and they say a lot of like funny stuff because they have like no filter whatsoever. Choo choo. Puff puff blast, please. I was really happy that one kid, I forget his name, who was like, oh, my broken heart, like who like was with Georgie. The fact that like that would made me so happy. I was so happy that he found somebody and like is in love with Georgie. Like, that's just because he seemed like Connor seemed like he had like really high standards, and so for him to find somebody and to be like just like almost like a perfect match for him, like, this is so cool, dude. And then well, I thought, dude, I don't know if I thought this was really funny, like Danny on the show, not to put her down, but she was like hyper fixated on like sex the whole time. Maybe that's why what's his name kept bringing it up or whatever, but she broke up with somebody who was like a pretty good match for her because he wanted to wait until marriage, and Danny has all these like ideas of like, I don't want to get married, I want to have a surrogate child, and I like to drink alcohol and all this, you know, basically whatever her aunt thinks she thinks, you know, which is understandable. And like, it's just, I don't know why, it's just so, because I was just thinking, like, what if you reverse the roles on that show and Adon broke up with her because she didn't want to have sex? Adon would be considered like a mega creep, but because she's a girl, she can just like, it's like cute and like funny that she has like a hyper fixation on like sex and like wants to have sex. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. Trained engineers are amazing. They're pretty cool, dude. The way Danny brought the cupcakes to the date to teach Adon how to kiss. Oh my god, it was so funny. And then at one point she like she made like an animation where they're like having sex in the animation, not like explicitly, but like under the covers. And I'm just like, damn, dude, if he doesn't get these signals, I don't know what. Needs Johnny Sins, yeah. Something had been Something had been knocked clear from the rafters of the changing room. It was a frickin' wasp nest. An angry, disturbed wasp nest getting smacked on the floor in the tawny What the fuck, how'd that happen? Yo, 20 mins, what's good? It was a frickin' wasp nest. I cannot say that word. Wasps nest. Wasps nest. A wasp's nest. Why do they even have words that have like that many S's in one thing? Do a poll. Deviled eggs. Do you like... Oh, poll. Do you like deviled eggs? Yeah, they're good. They definitely give me really bad gas, though. I'd be stanking that shit up. Something had been knocked clear from the God damn it. Knocked clear. Something had been knocked clear from the rafters of the changing room. It was a frickin' wasp nest. An angry, disturbed wasp nest getting smacked to the floor in the tiny confines of the changing room, and pretty much immediately a huge cloud of wasps swarmed out of the remnants of that paper hive. Dom let out this sort of strangled cry as they began to buzz towards him angrily. Then he ran forward and fully shoved me out of the way, so I fell back and hit the wall on the other side. It took him a moment to open the door, and again, I can't say for sure because it was all kinds of chaos with the whole wasp attack scenario, but I am certain that he had to unlock the door to get out, which means that he'd locked it behind him when he came in. Whether this was a detail I've added in my mind later or not, I don't know, but I don't think so. Dom ran out, screaming like a high-pitched weirdo, and the cloud of wasp followed him. Wasps. Aren't wasp nests like kind of small? Like, isn't there only ever like 6 wasp in like a wasp nest? A wasp nest? X-Kid, never been to a stream. Yeah, for anybody who's new to a stream, basically we just record the stories for tomorrow and kind of chitty chat and meme around. Sucks Joel's deviled egg farts through funnel and tube. He got like one of those like leather suits with like the tube on it. Wasp with a W lisp. Is it possible to eat an egg backwards? Oh, that's the real question. Oh, okay. Locked in, baby. Let's go. Dom ran out, screaming like a high-pitched weirdo, and the cloud of wasps followed him. I was already crying, but my eyes welled with fresh tears as I felt a sting on my right shoulder. And that's all, though. Just a singular sting. And when I went outside, it was still chaos. Teachers were batting towels at wasps while others ushered the kids out of the pool. Dom himself was swatting and flapping at the wasp with his bare hands, still shrieking over and over. I just ran to where my friends were going and got out of there. It took a while for the wasp to disperse and for some teacher to recover our clothes, so we were all sitting around on the playing fields in our swimsuits. Nothing really happened immediately after all this, though. We didn't see Dom at the school again, and I heard that he'd suffered a lot from a lot of wasps. Mother frick. Nothing really happened immediately after all of this. We didn't see Dom at the school again. I heard that he'd suffered from a lot of wasp stings. Good, the creeper. And when that school year ended, I was told during that summer that I'd be changing to a different school next semester. It was never explained why, but I didn't really need to ask. Even at that age, I knew Dom had tried to do a really bad thing, and that this was a good reason for me to leave that school. I didn't really mind leaving my friends. I had friends who already went to school I had friends who already went to the new school. Okay. Oh, fuck me, dude. Egg boof. Oh, dude, no joke. You say egg boof right now. So I was leaving my family's function, right? And then I was going to my buddy's function, and then he has some kids, so I was like, well, I better get them some candy or they're gonna hate me. So I was at this convenience store, and I got them like sour trolleys or whatever the fuck. But down at the bottom, I was like, maybe I should get them like an egg-shaped thing. And the only egg-shaped thing was this thing that said egg on it, and then down at the bottom it said BOOF, just boof. And I was like, what the fuck? An egg boof? So the fact that you said that is really funny. Hey Derek, what's up, dude? Long time no see. I like to plug my MDMA tablet followed by an egg as well as the next guy, but it's too expensive now. I know inflation on MDMA is crazy. I didn't buy the egg boof, no. I just got the gummies. I'm hooked up on your old-timey radio. That's cool. That's cool. Are you like experimenting with sound or something like that? Because what's it sound like? Hey, welcome back. World War II has just started, and they're even thinking of letting women vote. We gotta put a stop to this now. I didn't really mind leaving my friends. I had friends who already went to the new school as well, so it'd be fun. And I only found out much later that it was a lot weirder and creepier than I knew. The principal and her husband were basically scammers, running a school and getting charter funding as well as tuition fees, while spending the absolute bare minimum on upkeep, curriculum, and student safety. So some real tax dodgy things there. And eventually, Mr. Howe, Mr. Howe was pursued by the law for some kind of fraud or embezzlement. A wild story in itself, but one I can't really share. God damn it. Oh, that's happening now with women's votes. What, they're gonna let women vote? Oh my god. Oh my god. Somebody put a stop to this now. Quick question, do we become our bones? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what consciousness is. I mean, some people might argue that we are our brains. Like, if you take your brain, you are a culmination of the consciousness that manifests out of some sort of self-awareness stemming from the activity of the brain, which might have some merit to it, because if somebody were to come up to you and hit you over the head with a baseball bat multiple times in your head, you probably would become a slightly different personality, I would say. Maybe more aggressive, maybe you would drool more, maybe you would shit your pants, which is definitely out of your norm, I assume. But at the same time, it is questionable, because it's like, when you die, do you go forth and enter into, your soul, or I don't even know, your ever-present, everlasting self go onward to something else? We turn into goo. I hope so. I hope that goo can be melted down and turned into a good fuel alternative, to be honest with you. At this point, I would say if fossil fuels are created through high amounts of pressure, I feel like we could definitely take like entire graveyards and turn most of that into some degree of oil that we could invade Iraq for or something, you know what I mean? If your head is ever cluttered, you can just go for a ride. It worked for JFK. Well, there was a few stipulations. A bad experience with absinthe made me even more averse to black Human instrumentality project, that's where we go. What is that? Like, is it like the Matrix or something? I told my wife to have me stuffed after I die. I want to be sitting on the diner table at 10 family gatherings have opposable action figure arms. That would be sick. But then it like starts to break apart, like the skin starts to break and your eyeballs are like bulging. Sorry, I didn't know you'd read it. It's all good. I was thinking you were gonna say you like became a different person from taking the bad drugs. If you saw one of your bullies drowning, would you save them or watch them drown? Well, I guess it depends if I was like a little kid. Like if I was a little kid and I had a really bad bully who I just like didn't like, I would always have that excuse as like a little kid where if they passed away from drowning or something, say they were like a few years older, right, and they're at your daycare, your school, you know how sometimes it's always like the much older kids that can pick on the little ones because, you know, it's easy, they're smaller, and but then at the same time it's like the little kid doesn't quite understand developmentally like why the older one is such a douchebag. So if he were to die in a pool and is like drowning under the water, I mean, there's really not a whole lot we as like little kids could really necessarily do, which might just like justify in like our subconscious the desire to just like let them drown. Or drown. I don't know what the appropriate term there is, but honestly, I'll be honest with you, I probably would let my bully drown, but I'm gonna use the excuse that I'll use for the rest of my life that I was frozen in fear and I don't think I could have helped anyways. That's what I would tell my therapist, or at least what they would tell me and make me feel better about it. Random question, but was listening to This Alive, which was one of your streams like the other day, and loved it. Just wanted to see if you knew any other songs similar. Songs similar to that, I feel like there's got to be a vibe, you know what I mean, that goes along with it, which I imagine some degree of like music curation could find, like something like Pandora or Spotify or something. You could probably type that into ChatGPT, but like as far as a song that busts out in my mind immediately related to that one, I'm not sure, because I listened to other songs from Deb Never, and she's good, she's a good artist, but like none of them felt quite like that, you know. You're your own bully. It's okay. Hit the drown button. It just sucks them into the tube. What's up, babes? Large she blows. Finally finished all my finals. I'm free. That's awesome. What are you going to do for this summer? That's crazy. Finals already done in April. That's like early, isn't it? Have any of you guys heard of the artist OKCC? I don't think I have. What background sounds you playing right now? It's just some from Simon. He does the editing for the podcast. Also, I got a few messages saying that or like emails rather, that the podcast had some sort of ad playing over it at one point. So I just want to clarify that has been changed for the better. We exported or imported or whatever the fuck new audio to it that got rid of the issue. Do I know Ali X? I don't think so. Maybe it seems familiar though. You have a math final on your birthday. Oh, that sucks, dude. Dude, math is so weird. Like, there's just never, like, any enjoyment. Like, the only time I ever got enjoyment out of math was when I, like, actually tried. But at the end of the day, like, just... There's no freestyle to it, you know what I mean? There's no, like... Yeah, I'm just, like, naturally good at this shit. Check this out, you know? No, it's just, like, you have to go study and figure out how to do this like new made-up language and then interpret that made-up language to like come to some conclusion, and it has to be the exact right thing. There's just nothing fun about it. It's just zeros and ones literally, and it's gross, but I understand that's need. Have you guys heard of the YouTuber Let's Read? He reads scary stories. Oh, he's fucked in the head. Thank you for being you. Thank you for accepting me for me. I truly have rarely applied math in my career. Yeah, I mean, like, eventually you do everything on your goddamn phone anyways, and AI is gonna think for us soon, so we won't even have to, like, be creative either. My bullies were a group of people who tried getting me to submit through manipulation, but I didn't give a shite. That's awesome, bro. You didn't submit because you brought in a bat covered in nails. Eventually, Mr. Howe was pursued by the law for some kind of fraud or embezzlement. A wild story in itself, but one I can't really share because the details are so uniquely weird that it'd be too easy to work out who these people were. Not that I want to protect them, just myself. Maybe I'm being overly cautious. They were bad people after all, but the principal is still out there, and who knows, maybe there's a way that she could be litigious. Dawn isn't still out there though, at least not now. My mom found out via the local paper a few years after the embezzlement things. My mom found out via the paper a few years after the embezzlement things that okay, sorry. Man. If you could have any power, what would it be? Just x-ray vision to look at chicks' boobs all day, every day, through their clothes. Sorry. That's just me, though. No, I don't know. Probably like super strength, because it would just be like chill, you know what I mean? Like you would have no idea, and then I could just like fucking crush your skull. Like if anybody ever like told me no, I could just like thunderclap, and like the thunderclap itself would just, you wouldn't be able to hear anymore. It would just be like constant ringing forever. I could be invisible. I don't even know what I would do with invisibility, because I feel like if you went to a Area 51 situation, like they could still probably see your heat signature, couldn't they? Older you get, the easier math becomes. I mean, maybe. I guess maybe that's just because you do it more often, or you're a little, I don't even know what that means, to be honest. Probably because you actually study. I feel like half the reason people suck at anything in school nowadays is because they don't try. Like, if you sat down and genuinely, like, tried to, like, learn something, you could. It just sucks because it's not interesting. If you were interested in something, you'd probably learn it. That's why, you know, they don't teach Fortnite class, because every kid would be sick at Fortnite class and have an A+. I have the power of manipulation. See? You are all getting very, very sleepy. If you're not choosing to move things with your mind, just quit now. Nothing is better than that. Choosing to move things with your mind, just quit. When am I quitting again? My job at picking made-up powers. My mom found out via the local paper a few years after the embezzlement things that Dom had been sent to prison for completely unrelated crimes. Yeah. Sadly, in his 40s, he'd gotten into a relationship with a woman who had 2 kids and abused both of them. I don't know the details of the abuse, and I don't know Man, I am fucking up tonight. I cannot find my fucking wiener. I don't know the details of the abuse, and I don't want to know. It chills me enough knowing the lucky escape that I had, and I try not to fixate on the fact that I'm certain the changing room door was locked when he tried to leave. Maybe I would have been fine, but that doesn't stop me from thanking God for those wasps, and hopefully it really hurt when they stung that predator, because he absolutely deserved that, and far, far worse. Oh, teleporting. Yeah, I guess teleporting would be sick, as long as I don't end up, like, mixed with some creature at the end. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have started so late. Fuck, I gotta be up tomorrow to do more shit. I should have scheduled that for another day. Hey, Fry, what's up, dude? End up messing something up and like erasing yourself from existence. Yeah, I feel like it'd be, I don't know. Anytime you ever like have anything cool happen, I just assume there's some type of djinn or genie that just like is like, oh, you've wished for huge balls? Well, I'm gonna make them really, really big. But also, if you touch them, they explode. I could reschedule now. I don't know, dude. It would be unprofessional. Have you seen the madness with Pokemon cards lately? No. Fill me in, bro. I've been kind of like getting back into Pokemon cards just... Well, not really. Just for like a few days I've heard about them a little bit because my one brother was really into them. He's substantially older than I am, but he seems to be really into Pokemon cards for some reason. And it seems like it's just non-stop pandemonium with like the economy of that world. Very demure. Pokemon is the tool of Satan. Grow up and play Magic. Good point. Anyone here on the East Coast wish they could magically transport to the West Coast and live the rest of your life there, just so you could go to bed right now and get an extra 3 hours of sleep? That'd actually be kind of sick. Pokemon cards are the new Beanie Babies. Yeah, people are going to be like dividing them up in a court hearing during their divorce. These days, there's a lot of... These days, there's a lot of panic about changing rooms at public pools and gyms. Who can or who can't, who should or shouldn't be in them. Now don't worry, I'm not here to get all political. I'm not going to offer a take on that. I'm just bringing it up so you can understand why I always kind of laugh when it gets mentioned, because it reminds me of something that happened to me in a dressing room where all rules, regulations, expectations, and social norms went straight out the window. And I thought that it was pretty freaking scary at the time, so I wanted to share it. I've been going to the pool religiously 3 times a week as part of a post-pandemic Get Fit Again campaign, and it's actually working. I was really proud of myself. I was sticking to my fitness regime. Diet was going well, blah blah blah. And I should probably add now that I'm a female, and so this took place in the female changing room at the pool/gym complex I'm still a member of to this day. Me and some of my other friends were in the changing rooms getting ready for a swim session. We'd started getting to know each other from seeing each other at the gym, so we'd begun to... Man, dude, I just like can't fucking find it, brother. You get distracted? Yeah, dude, I'm easily distracted. But I kind of want to be distracted. Like, I don't know. I don't really want to read stories anymore. I mean, I do, but I would much rather just sit here for 4 hours and, like, listen to you guys tell me things and me say things, and then you tell me things, and then I say things, and it just does that forever. If you were in the 80s and 90s teen movie, what stereotypical high school group would you be a part of? Probably the ones that, like, peel people's skin off with a little knife. Like when you're not looking, we just scrape a little off. Wish YouTubers could do what they wanted. I know, man. I'm a prisoner. I'm a goddamn prisoner in this hellhole of YouTube. I mean, that would be kind of funny. Imagine if I did that. What if I just sat in here and talked about shit for an hour, right? And it was just like my normal peddlum of nonsense. And then I just posted that edited into a video tomorrow and just said me talking for an hour. I wonder how many views it would actually get. Would you still be able to fall asleep, do you think? Probably not. It probably wouldn't do very well. But it would be strange if you could just switch up your content just like that easy, and people are like, cool. We'd started to get it in... Man, my brain is somewhere else. We'd started getting to know each other from seeing each other at the gym, so we'd begun timing our swim and workout sessions to spot and pace one another. There were 4 of us there that day, plus an elderly woman that I hadn't seen before. You know that kind of sound that lets you know that something bad is coming, but you can't quite describe it? Well, we all heard that, just the sounds of a scuffle coming from somewhere outside the dressing rooms. Loud bangs, indecipherable shouts, just general chaos. I guess we all looked at each other, frozen mid-change. My eyes shot to the hallway that led around the corner from the dressing room, and I think everyone else looked that way too. A man came thundering into the changing rooms, and I'll never forget the sight of him. He was dressed in filthy little blue shorts, almost comically short. He wore a white sleeveless t-shirt, also filthy and covered in stains. Then, at the ends of his wiry legs were these huge brown boots that smashed against the tiles as he ran. His hair was wild and disheveled, like it had been ripped out in clumps. And it's not like I got a great look at the guy, but it was obvious that he was sick in some fundamental way. His skin was blotchy and flaky. He had cuts and bruises all over him, and his eyes were absolutely crazed as he burst in. And I swear to God, there were flecks of foam at the corner of his... Flecks of foam. That's my Fortnite name, Flecks of Foam. Let's read live tour. Bring your sleeping bags one day. Don't forget your fart balloons. That would be sick, honestly. Like, do you think you guys could go to a big... I mean, how much would it cost? Like, how much do you think, like, an actual... Like, you go to a concert, right? But a concert, like, the actual venue duration would be, like, a couple hours. But if you went to an event where my whole purpose was to, like, talk for 4 hours till you fell asleep on a mat on the floor and then woke up, I imagine you would get no sleep due to your just general unfamiliarity with, like, everything around you. But maybe you would. Maybe you would pass out and sleep over in a big auditorium. Do you think you would feel comfortable? I mean, I guess you could just do it in prison. Maybe I could come read at prison. I'd go do reads at... I could put all of you guys in Guantanamo Bay and I could come read to you. Yeah, we could do that. I want to put you to sleep. I mean, that's usually the goal, is it not? Would you see my face then? No, I think I would be in the back like the Wizard of Oz with like some big VTuber face like up on a screen talking to you. It would be sick though. It would be like hardcore cool VTuber, not that bullshit anime crap. I wrote a grad paper on this. People need people. We're too isolated. We listen to some random guy with handsome voice to fall asleep. It's true. I do listen to other people to fall asleep too. If it was an inmate and heard Joel was visiting to read us, I'd be elated. That's why everybody hurry up and get to jail quick. I'll be there soon. Touring every jail. And it would be a taxpayer-funded tour. I've just hacked the system, essentially. Oh, do it on a cruise ship. That'd be kind of sick. I could do it. Yeah. I thought about that. I went on a cruise ship in 2019 before all the COVID crap. And I remember there was like Fail Army on. There was a big screen at the pool on like the top deck. And all like they played just like compilations of Fail Army all day long. And I was like, damn. Fail Army. Maybe one day they'll have Let's Read Army up there. The Swingers Cruise. There's a lot of old people, unfortunately. And I swear to God, there were flecks of foam at the corners of his mouth. That wasn't even the really scary part, nor the fact that he just burst into the women's locker room. The really scary part was that he was holding a massive wicked-looking machete that appeared rusted and probably infected with tetanus. It didn't even look that sharp. It was absolutely freaking terrible when you're in the middle of changing in your bathing suit for a swim. He paused for a second when he saw us and let out a sort of horrifying grunt scream, a guttural animal roar, like a beast. The machete seemed to quiver in his sweaty palms, and then he began running right at me. I want to say that I was super brave and clotheslined the machete-wielding maniac, but no. I screamed at the top of my lungs and fell back against the lockers. He came charging through and was followed almost immediately by a gang of armed cops chasing him, yelling for him to freeze. I barely had time to think, let alone react, but looking back now, I'm extremely glad that the man didn't think to grab one of us as a hostage. Instead, he thundered through the dressing room, into the showers, and out into the pool area, out of sight, and those cops chased after him. As he ran, he shoved the elderly woman towards the cops, sending her face first into one of them, who caught her, steadied her, and then sprinted off to rejoin the pursuit. We all stood there, terrified and completely shell-shocked. Screams suddenly erupted from the pool area where people had already been swimming, and then more yelling, and then a gunshot. We just stared at each other, sort of like, what the flip just happened? Did that really just occur? The elderly woman was crying and shaking, so we went to check if she was okay, and thankfully she was, just kind of shaken up. We didn't have to wait long to find out what had happened. None of us wanted to leave the dressing room, and who knew what was still going on out there? Even though the noise from the pool area had died down, it was still pretty tense. Thankfully, a cop came to get us shortly after and informed us it was safe to come out. None of us really felt like swimming anymore. How come? That would have primed me to do a freaking backflip. You like watching people's reactions to anesthesia? Oh yeah, doesn't that knock them out though? And wouldn't it just be like, oh, you mean on YouTube? I was like, where'd you get all that anesthesia? Cruises scare me. Petri dishes of diseases in an unknown evolved ocean. A thin metal sheet below. Hard pass. Yeah, it's not great to be honest. So like I went on a cruise and it was a group of friends and I immediately got sick being there. And I was sick for quite a few days. And then the process was just like unenjoyable. It was like you're constantly sailing. You got like things you can do, but for the most part, everyone just sort of like sits at on deck and gathers sun or some shit. You know what I mean? Which is just like not that fun for me. And then obviously you eat, but like, even though it's a massive ship, I like got seasick. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, I don't know, just gross. None of us really felt like swimming anymore, so we'd already dressed again and exited the gym instead of heading to the pool. As we followed the cop to the front desk, I saw a machete man, now without his machete I assume, being roughly escorted into a cop car. Turns out, he'd been strolling down the street in broad daylight, threatening people with that machete. The cops had been called and he ran right into the gym and then into our locker room. It was never clear if he actually intended to use the machete on anyone, and I'm immensely grateful no one was hurt, not even the elderly lady that he shoved. She never came back to that gym though, and I really can't blame her to be honest. And thankfully, no one was injured when the cop's gun went off during the pursuit. As a responsible gun owner myself in an open carry state, I've been extra paranoid since then. As a responsible gun owner in an open carry state, I've been extra paranoid since then about triple checking that my safety is on. Then again, I won't go anywhere without the damn thing now because you never know who's gonna come bursting in wielding a huge blade at any time. As for the guy, they think that he was probably on bath salts or something, which honestly checks out. Thankfully, the whole thing didn't leave any lasting scars. It's become the stuff of legends at my gym, and those of us who were there that day still get first dibs on workout gear and are treated like celebrities. The perks of being attacked with a machete, I guess. I'm pretty sure the guy went to jail, but I don't think he's there anymore. The reason I'm writing this is because I think he's out, and I'll never forget the face of the madman who burst into the locker room, not as long as I live. So unless he has a twin brother, he's been released because the other day, even though he looked much healthier and cleaner, I saw an identical-looking man mopping the floor at Wendy's. Well, there you go. Joy, are you a fungi? Did you grow cordyceps? Spill the portobello. Mushrooms are pretty neat, though. I was playing this game because I was motivated to... It was like a DLC release for a game called Rain World, which is... You play as like a little slug cat, and more or less the way the game progresses is you move through different rooms, kind of like Metroidvania-style games, but in these like environments where there's just different creatures that are trying to kill you, but you're also like, you know, in the food chain, you're trying to hunt like little pieces of fruit or these little bats that you have to get, and then as you like fill up your food meter, you go find a place to like hunker down for the evening or whatever and hibernate. And basically there's like cycles, which I don't know if it's supposed to represent days or like a singular day, but if it's days, basically at the end of the day the heavy rains start coming down that are so heavy that they kill you, you know, and kill like most creatures that are out. So you as a slug cat have to go find a place that sort of like closes and allows you to hibernate for a period of time, then come back out and do it again. And I'm pretty sure as you like survive certain nights, it opens up like new areas and whatnot. I sound great on the old-timey radio. I actually don't know where I was going with that. Shit. Sorry. Anyways, oh yeah, well the DLC, it's like, you get it, but you have to beat the game on the normal mode. But it's a really hard game. Still don't really remember why I was bringing that up, though. If anybody knows, that'd be sick. Dun, 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 dun. Mushrooms. Oh yes, in the game you can eat mushrooms, which like slows down time, or another mushroom which like if you die keeps you from like resetting the day, which is kind of nice. Can you get a yeehaw? Yeehaw! Appreciate my uploads, thank you. I'm uploading my personality to the Matrix now. Go download it on Patreon. If you could like upload your entire personality and self into a computer right now, would you do it? That you could just like give to a friend and it could replicate you to that friend, or yourself if you wanted to talk to yourself. Can I get a name in? Nay. So I'd be worth 19 gigabytes. I guess that's true. Like, imagine if they uploaded someone's consciousness. How much? Well, I wonder if you could ask AI, honestly. Let's ask ChatGPT how much someone's personality. How much memory would one person's personality be? Boop, thank you for the 369, but a socks tech, thank you. Great question. It's surprisingly hard to answer directly, but here's a breakdown based on what we can estimate. If we treat personality like software or data, modern AI language models like me require hundreds of gigabytes of training data to emulate generalized human behavior and conversation, but this is overkill compared to specific personality of just one person. Comprehension estimate, data needed to define unique person. Let's say we wanted to store the following about one person: core beliefs, values, emotional reactions, memories that shape them, preferences, mannerisms, speaking style, life history, and personal context. A very compressed, abstracted digital profile of a personality might fit in 1 to 10 gigabytes, depending on the complexity. If you went all out, like uploading someone's mind, a complete detailed simulation, like in sci-fi brain uploading, might require up to a few petabytes. 1 petabyte equals 1 million gigabytes if you're including every neural connection and memory trace. This includes everything, not just personality, but full consciousness emulation. AI analogies: the GPT-4 model, which powers me, has 175 billion parameters, taking up 350 to 700 gigabytes. But that's for general purpose brain, not a singular personality. Fine-tuning a large model to act like you might only require a few gigabytes of data. Think of chat logs, emails, text, voice samples, and behavioral patterns. I feel like there's a lot of sci-fi here. Oh, let's see. Let's think. What would you even ask? Is it possible to access people's memories when they can't access them theirself? Yes. Through implicit memory brain scans. Implicit memory is memory you've not consciously aware of but still influences your behavior. Think riding a bike or having a gut feeling. Some brain imaging studies, fMRI, EEG, show that your brain reacts to familiar stimuli like a face, place, or word, even when you don't consciously remember them. The brain knows before you do. Lie detectors on steroids, brain fingerprinting. There's tech like brain fingerprinting that flashes images or words and measures brain waves, P300 response to detect recognition. It's been tested in criminal investigations. If the brain reacts, even if the person says I don't remember, the theory is somewhere in there the memory exists. Hypnosis and trauma therapy. Involuntary recall from brain injuries or dreams. After strokes or head trauma, some people recall long forgotten events or languages they haven't used in decades. Sometimes during dreams or near-death experiences, deeply buried memories resurface. Your brain might store way more than you can consciously access. Beyond today's fMRIs, we might eventually pull memories directly from the brain, even ones that person. Is there any tech now that can directly translate images of the brain to what the person is thinking in real time? Holy God, I'm already having a hard time. This isn't making it easier. What's not making it easier? For what? I've eaten 45 species of mushrooms. That's cool. Hypnotherapy. Yeah, I don't know. I have heard of that, accessing things. I don't know how reliable that is. In 2023, researchers at the University of Texas used fMRI and GPT-style models to decode people's thoughts into full sentences just from brain activity without needing implants. Participants listened to audio stories while inside of an fMRI scanner, and the AI translated their brain activity into fairly accurate summaries of what they were hearing or imagining. It's not exact word for word, but it's close enough to get the gist, like, she didn't know whether to scream or run, being decoded from neural data. That's fucking strange. Brain, that's fucking strange, man. Also, while dreaming, the part of your brain that makes sense of things is switched off. That's why seeing a flying elephant is nothing to bat an eye over. That's true, yeah. That's what sucks, is like, as soon as things start to make sense or you become lucid, I feel like I always wake up. So I wonder if there's something in my brain when I become like lucid dreaming that wakes me up out of it. Brain to image generation. Other researchers, like Osaka University, have been able to reconstruct visual images people are looking at, like faces, objects, or letters, by analyzing brain activity with diffusion models similar to AI image generators. These constructions are blurry and surreal, but recognizably similar to what the person actually saw. Example, they showed someone a picture of a leopard. The AI, using brain data, generated a weird but accurate AI drawing of a leopard without the person saying a word. Brain-to-speech via implements. In 2023, UCSF and Stanford scientists developed brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, for paralyzed patients that decode. Yeah, isn't Stanford where like DARPA puts all of its projects and shit like that? We're gonna talk about them again, huh? That can decode brain signals into speech in real time. It requires implants, but the person can think a word and the system speaks it with up to 60 to 70 words per minute. Some systems even generate an AI avatar that speaks using the person's real voice tone synthesized from past recordings. Holy fuck, dude. Holy shit, dude. We are there, bro. The brain is hacked. The brain is like 100% cooked. Like, I don't, like, we thought that our mind and our thoughts are like inaccessible, but this is it, man. Elon Musk's Neuralink has a monkey playing pong with its brain. His goal is to get humans to control devices or type with thought alone, and it's being tested now. It's still early, but the tech is real. Crazy. DARPA has a time machine. Yeah, what's the deal with the time machine? JPEGs are safe. Upload your consciousness as a PNG. Stanford is sketchy for sure. All the social research and behavior modification psych was there. I'm gonna put that in the... I'm gonna just put that exact thing in there and see what it says. Stanford is ground zero for some of the most infamous and controversial behavioral psychology experiments. You're absolutely right when you say it's sketchy, especially when you look at the broader pattern of what was studied there and why. Stanford prison experiment, we knew about that. Zimbardo's connections to MK Ultra, DoD influence. Zimbardo's work and affiliations. Wait, did we skip over Zimbardo? No. Like many in elite psych circles at the time, existed alongside CIA and military-funded behavioral research. While not a confirmed MK-Ultra experiment, it echoes the type of environmental influences studies that were part of that broader behavioral control umbrella. Stanford was involved in Project MK Search and other spin-offs. That's public record now. Walter Mischel's Marshmallow Test, 1960s to 70s, another Stanford classic. Kids offered one marshmallow now or two if they waited. Framed as self-control study, but actually fed into decades of behaviorist policy thinking. Can we program patience and discipline? Later analysis showed the outcomes were more tied to poverty and environment than innate willpower, but it was used for years to argue for psych-based social engineering. You live next to Stanford, so it's nice around here. That's cool. Yeah, you should go in there and let them do experiments on your brain. see what they find. Anyways. When this happened, it was late summer. And at the time, I was female, 21 years old, finishing up college before med school. The only important detail really is knowing that we were a group of 4 girls, all around 20 to 21, having a small pool party in a raised backyard pool. The only important detail really is knowing that we were a group of 4 girls, all around 20 to 21, having a small pool party in a raised backyard pool at our shared house. It was maybe around 10, possibly a bit earlier. We'd been drinking on and off for about an hour or two and spirits were high. We were having fun, we were relaxed, and we were chilled out, and it was the perfect evening. The sun was beginning to set over the forest on the outskirts of our suburban property, and the mouth-watering smell of the Petersons' barbecue was making me hungry. And it seemed like they'd had the same idea as us, to have a backyard party, and sometimes, when our music paused, you could hear theirs in the background. There had been a bunch of kids at the Petersons' party early. I'm gonna live forever on YouTube. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if after, I will give it 30 years. I want to say in 30 years, if YouTube is still around, which I imagine it will be, there will be a point where you might not even have a choice. YouTube, whether you die or not, gets to have the option to perpetuate your existence or personality or voice or whatever forever. Well, you know the weirdest thing that I think YouTube could probably do, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, is taking all of the creators' data that they have collated so far, putting that into an AI, and then generating, once AI video and voice gets better, just making up YouTubers out of nowhere that, are AI driven and kind of just arbitrarily made up. Can you imagine one of the biggest YouTubers, a new Mr. Beast or something, is just completely fabricated from the computers? I don't know, hopefully we're a ways away from that. Maybe there will be law that will be implemented that would mitigate anything like that, but I guess there really wouldn't be, because I don't know, the amount of data collection that's come from AI so far is kind of insane. It's also very strange sometimes to think that people say, I saw a meme the other day where it's I don't watch any media or mainstream stuff because they're brainwashing you or whatever. But it's brother, your literal personality is determined by the algorithm that YouTube puts in front of you every day. And I realized, I'm holy shit, that's true. Now granted, I still have control over which one I click. But God, do you ever find yourself on YouTube, you're just stuck? You sometimes get stuck on YouTube just within a very confined little bubble, right? Where your little bubble of content that you watch day in and day out, or cycle to and forth, only really consists of maybe at maximum 10 different creators. Otherwise you just sort of exist in there and never find anybody else. You watch me, Dashy, and Impractical Joker clips. Nice, that's funny. Oh. You go up to 50 creators at a time. That's a lot. But you familiar with all of them and you scroll through all of them? You broke YouTube. I watch it so much that it started showing me stuff I already watched from 2 years ago. It is funny, whenever they start showing you content from a creator that shit they made from forever ago, you're well, I guess I really like them.
What's up? It's Dashy. I just fucking went crazy on my wife and kids. Lost my fucking mind.
There had been a bunch of kids at the Petersons' party earlier, but now the raucous noise of children playing had died down and everything was chill. The girls and I were just kicking back, listening to, well, whatever was popular with us back then, I guess, and enjoying a bit of downtime from the last grueling year of studying, work, and personal drama. We were drinking cocktails, the glasses sitting on the side of the outdoor above ground pool, just having a good time. I forgot that sounded weird.
What's up? It's Dashy. It's Dasha Lasha Ding Dong.
You, Bailey, Mr. Ballin, Dark Case, M7, Mr. Creepypasta, Wartime Horrors, damn, you're right. Yeah. And it's kind of weird, because, like, I mean, you could find other stuff, but I guess if you don't click on it, it's really hard for you to go on any side of, like, sort of rabbit holes on YouTube anymore. Like, I very seldom find myself. And I think the worst thing about, like, AI content is that, like, any of the side content you start to, like, deviate to, some of it becomes like AI and you just like don't even want to leave your like little circle of like humans. So imagine that, but your entire Google account with complete integration on all of your mobile devices. I'm imagining now. We were drinking cocktails, the glasses sitting on the side of the outdoor above ground pool, just having a good time. We were doing absolutely nothing to invite or deserve what came next. The back gate to our property opened. This wasn't particularly alarming in and of itself. There was 5 of us total living in that house, and Janet B. was out at work and expected home soon. It could also have been Claire or Dana's boyfriends, or any number of people really. Our house was gathering central back then, and it was normal for trusted people to let themselves in the back gate instead of coming in the front door, especially if they could hear us partying in the yard. I couldn't see the gate myself from the pool, I had my back to it, but I could tell from Kelly and Claire's reactions that whoever had entered through the back gate shouldn't have been there. "Who the hell are they?" Kelly asked. I turned around the pool. 3 guys strolled into the yard. They looked around college age. They looked around college age and sauntered over with confidence that I'd seen in a million frat dudes. I didn't recognize any of them, but maybe one of the girls did, and alarm bells weren't ringing just yet. "Can we help you guys?" Dana asked. A quick look at Claire and Kelly told me that they didn't know the boys either. The lead frat guy gave this big... stupid grin. And even then, without any real evidence, I had a strong feeling that we might be in trouble. He looked almost wolfish and predatory, and I didn't like it. "We were just in the area, thought we'd swing by," he said, or something like that. Kelly, always the smartass, told him that he should swing back on out the way he came, and that made him laugh. "No, seriously," I said. "Are you guys looking for Janet?" They shot a look at each other. "Janet? Sure," the bigger guy in the back said. They introduced themselves, probably with made-up names, I thought later, and I don't remember what they said their names were, so I'll always just call them Chad, Brad, and Vlad when I tell this story. Might as well get some fun out of an otherwise horrible incident. "Well, Janet's at work," I told them. "I'm not sure when she'll be back." Chad at the front beamed again, saying, "Well, that's fine. Well, wait. Why are you looking for Janet?" Claire asked. "Oh, you know. She owes us," Brad said. Janet. Really. Janet was the most sensible of all of us. She was the least likely to owe anyone money, and the most likely to be out at work while the rest of us had a pool party. I guess I grilled them on it because Chad came up to the pool edge. "Yeah, she owes us. But ain't... God damn it, dude. I'm like always about to like kind of get it. Hey, Justin. Thank you, dude, for the 5 gifters. Takelua, Zoldyck, Code Fairy, Evan Murphy, Christine B, and Eric Sayers. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, it's my frat voice. What's up, babes? Looking for the gun show? Check these out. Pew pew. Certified open carry. Would you guys ever date a Chad? An absolute frat Chad? Yeah, she owes us. But any of you can pay up on her behalf if you're so inclined, he said. Yeah, no thanks, I thought. So to explain our outdoor pool, it was one of those above-ground units that could be assembled, disassembled, and moved, rather than a pool built into the ground. It was sort of halfway between a pool and a hot tub, I guess. Like a hot tub, but bigger and without jets or heating. You know the type of old pool I mean. Now, getting in and out required a ladder, a separate piece that clipped over the side of the pool. One side of the ladder went vertically down in the pool and the other anchored out. I was also thinking, like, what if, like, like a frat dude shows up to your house and is like, What's up, ladies? And he's, like, getting ready to do a dive, and you're like, you probably don't want to dive in there, because, like, you could, like, hurt your head or something. It's, like, pretty shallow. He's like, listen, babe, I've done this a million times. And then he does a dive and just immediately fucking, like, snaps his vertebrae and then, like, floats to the top. Everybody's screaming, and they're just... I don't know, I could see, like, everyone screaming, but if I was, like, a hot chick, I would roll my eyes. That'd be, like, my go-to, like, signature move, is just, like, rolling my eyes. Be so pissed. These total freaking dorks broke their neck while I'm trying to get some sun. Get a tan going. Get some vitamin D. Not from them, though. You live in a college town, and one night a few years ago, college bro was so drunk and banging all the doors and windows in my house. The college house was next door. Yeah, dude, I don't even know, dude. Drunk people are so fucking annoying. Goops. Yeah, it does sound like Goop Spooch. It actually does sound like... That's what I was thinking in my head, too. I love that one. It's like, you're doing a great job, Dad. Dad, you rock. You're doing a good job. You're doing a great job, Dad. You're a great dad. What's up, Scully? What have you been up to, dude? You just making content? You better not be using AI. We will find out. We will find out. One side of the ladder went vertically down into the pool and the other angled outward like a playground slide. Without the ladder, it was technically possible to get out by dragging yourself over the side and falling onto the grass, but it was awkward as hell and extremely undignified. Fine when you were alone, but not in front of these strange guys. And that's why it was so alarming when almost immediately, Vlad silently lifted the ladder up and away from the pool. "Hey, don't be a dick," Kelly said, swimming over to that side. I sighed and rolled my eyes. I still wasn't properly scared yet. Ow, I hit my head. Don't be a dick. Don't be a fucking cockballs. It did sound like, yeah, Elon Musk is like always talking like a frat dude. A frat dude with autism. What did I hit my head on? There's like a stalagmite coming from the ceiling. I didn't even see it. I sighed and rolled my eyes. I still wasn't actually scared yet. The boys had been so bold coming into the yard, I was certain that they had to be connected to one of us. Could it really be sweet, square Janet? "Hey, just make sure you stay where we can keep our eye on you." Oh, what the hell? Just making sure. Hey, just making sure you stay where we can keep an eye on you, Chad said. His voice seemed to be filled with cruel teasing. Yeah, we don't want you attack. What the fuck? We don't want you to attack us. Yeah, we don't want you to attack us, Brad added. Not what I meant. Oh, Jesus fuck, I'm not ready for dialogue. That's not what I meant, dumbass, Chad snapped, like he was mad that Brad had chimed in on his oh-so-hilarious joke. All three of them were staring us up and down, their eyes traveling across our bodies. We were all in hot bikinis, and the sun had almost fully set, but the garden was lit up brightly by our outdoor lighting. I strained to hear whether the Petersons were still in their yard, and I thought so, and that felt reassuring. If anything too bad had started to happen, I could yell out. God damn it. Brad and Chad and Schmad. Thaddeus. If anything too bad started to happen, I could yell out to them pretty easily. The boys talked to us for a few minutes about some nonsense that I don't remember. All the while, the three of them circled the pool like coyotes, and it felt like they'd rehearsed this. They could tell that they were unnerving us, that we were vulnerable, and I know they were enjoying it. Fucking Christ. They could tell that they were unnerving us, that we were vulnerable, and I know that they were enjoying it. Then Chad started messing around trying to dunk Claire. If Janet was the sensible one, Claire was the shy one, the least likely to enjoy that kind of horseplay. Plus, she had a boyfriend that she'd been going steady with for a long time. F off, Claire yelled. Don't touch me. Hey, chill out, babe. I'm just having fun, Chad said, acting all hurt. Yeah, I think it's time for you guys to leave, Dana said, beginning to pull herself over the side of the pool. In the blink of an eye, the almost silent Vlad darted over and shoved her quite forcefully back into the pool. And that's when I knew that we were actually in potentially some danger. Hey, don't shove her, I yelled, hoping the Petersons could hear us at this point. Chad's face suddenly turned serious. I suggest you bitches shut up. Start talking, he said. Talking about what? I asked. I looked at my friends and realized that Kelly, normally the loudest, most outspoken, most confident one of us, had been strangely quiet through most of this. Kelly, do you know these guys? I asked, and she shook her head. No, I don't know them, but... So it's you, Chad said, pacing over to Kelly. The three of us instinctively closed in around her, only the pool walls between us and those guys. What's you? Dana asked. She's the one seeing our good friend Pete, Chad said. Kelly had in fact been seeing a new guy recently, Pete, and Dana and Janet didn't like him so much, but I did, and he was a bit of a stoner, didn't take things too seriously, not long-term material for Kelly, or so I thought. He seemed fun enough for a fling. You're... Oh my god, I can't keep up all the fucking characters, jeez. Oh, there's so much more too, it's so annoying. Oh my god, this story's actually really long, whatever. Just... Chat that and Smad and Glorb the Destroyer. She's the one seeing her good friend Pete, Chad said. Kelly had in fact been seeing a new guy recently, Pete. Dana and Janet didn't like him so much, but I did. He was a bit of a stoner, didn't think... God damn it, I already read this and now I have to read it again. I'm in the trenches right now. Thank you. He was a bit of a stoner, didn't take things too seriously. Not long-term material for Kelly, or so I thought. He seemed fun enough for a fling. You're friends of Pete? Kelly asked, and she seemed relieved. Well, he wishes, Chad said. Pete owes us a lot of money, and we thought the other girl was his piece, but if it's you, maybe you can pay the debt. How much? Kelly asked, and she looked sick. I was still glancing towards the Petersons' yard. Don't even think about it, Brad growled and grabbed my shoulder. At the same time, Chad grabbed Kelly and Vlad grabbed Dana, and Claire shrieked, backed up to the center of the pool. What? Claire shrieked?
Shrieked.
Oh, man. Your father-in-law is dating a lady named Karen. I hope it's just the name. Yeah, I feel like Karens have, like, real-life Karens have to, like, go above and beyond to, like, fucking not be a dumb bitch. The Council of Karens have met. I have to mine the stalagmite. It's redstone. Oh, Pradeep's curled up behind me now. Also, that's such a funny name from the Saved by the Bell character, Screech. He's dead, isn't he? Or does he just do porn? Did he die doing porn? Chadlin Musk. Okay, at the same time... Don't even think about it. Brad growled and grabbed my shoulder. At the same time, Chad grabbed Kelly and Vlad grabbed Dana. Claire shrieked and backed up to the center of the pool. Stay right there, Chad told her. Then, as if to demonstrate why, the three boys dunked us all underwater and held us there. It wasn't hard to slip out of their grasps. We weren't in danger of drowning, but it still hurt, and it was still terrible. We joined Claire in the center of the pool, and that's when things started to get very unpleasant. If any of you scream or try to get out or do anything, then I promise you, we will hurt you really, really badly, Chad said. He pulls out a switchblade from his pocket. Just a small thing, but I could tell in the dim light that it was incredibly sharp. I also knew exactly how much damage 3 grown men could do to 4 bikini-clad women before anyone could get there. Fucking Christ. Bikini bottom clad babes. I was bikinily clad out on the beach. Man, I just want to take a shower so bad and fucking die. Not sure if it's affecting people with an actual stutter. What, the impersonations?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe how much it affects us.
I specifically remember doing the RFK impression, and there was the one girl, Jade, was in here like every stream for like months on end, and then she was like, hey, that's mean, and then I don't think she's ever come back to the stream again because I was mean about RFK. I don't know. I feel like that's like, how could you can't come into politics with a voice that sounds like a cartoon character and like not expect people to like do impressions, you know what I mean? Did I have a good day today? Yeah, it was crazy. It was a good, really good day. Super like all over the place with family and friends. Joe bullies RFK. Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
But I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. Don't blame me. At the same time, Chad grabbed Kelly and Vlad grabbed Dana. Claire shrieked and backed up to the center of the pool.
God damn it. Where am I even at, bro? I'm so, like, discombobulated with this story. Please just leave it. I think we're here. They're getting, like, waterboarded. Who's the one creator I want to collaborate with? Probably... I Show Speed. That'll be it. That's the one. I want to race him. I could beat him, I think. Hot tubs, yeah, just do a shower stream. I also knew exactly how much damage 3 grown men could do to 4 bikini-clad women before anyone could get there. Please just leave us alone, Dana said. Pete isn't even here. He's not even stopping by tonight. Well, that just sucks for you girls then, Chad said. We want our money. We need it. And this one here's Pete's girl, so... How much does he owe? Maybe we can pay you, I asked. Chad started to eye me up. He owes us $20. I kept eye contact with him, and then he burst out laughing. Brad joined in, and their cackles started to grate on me. No, he owes us some serious moolah, babe, Chad said. $5,000. Oh, God. None of us had anywhere near $5,000 lying around the house, even if we wanted to hand it over to these weirdos. What the hell does Pete owe $5,000 for? Kelly demanded. Chad made an exaggerated sniffing sound and rubbed his nose. Oh, this and that. Pete usually had a stash of harder stuff that I was used to. He often had small baggies of coke, MDMA, and things like that. And Kelly had met him when she was trying to score some weed, so it wasn't too far-fetched to imagine that he dealt coke and owed these guys. I always assumed people like Pete got their drugs from more cartel-like types, but I was wrong. I've since realized that dealers exist at every level in all walks of life. Yeah, so either you pay us or yourself. Oh, God. Well, babe, you're gonna have to see what are those bikinis made out of? Diamond? Let's read the matchmaker. Wait, who's matchmaking? Is this Love on the Spectrum Let's Read edition, season 4 in the chat? What's going on? Do. Is Chad dating someone? Sup, babes? You owe me money. I just met you, but you owe me your life. Let's breed. Yeah. So either you pay us yourself, or you get Pete over here to settle his debt. Or maybe you girls could pay us back some other way. Chad chuckled. Brad clearly liked this idea, and he stared at me in particular, which I really didn't appreciate. Ew, no thanks, I remember saying. And I was considering what to do in that moment. We could rush them, or rush for the back gate, but we'd have to flop out of that pool first. If all of us did it, maybe one of us could get away, but what would those guys do to the rest in the meantime? And how could I communicate a plan without them hearing? Claire had drifted to the other side of the pool, maybe just to get some distance, and we were so focused on Chad and Brad we didn't notice Vlad had circled around. When Claire got close enough, she grabbed her by the... When Claire got close enough, he grabbed her by the hair. She let out a small yell before his hand clamped over her mouth. Someone better bake. I guess someone better bake a message. Okay, it's Chad again. Fucking Christ. I'm not used to this much dialogue in like a fucking scary story bullshit. Let's read Goob's Mooch collab. Hopefully soon, dude. Hopefully soon. I do think that's such a brilliant way to do like animation. That's the one where he like draws on the paper, right? But he just does like a funny drawing. I feel like that's a great way to do it, honestly. You just draw it and make the scenes and then do silly voices, and it kind of just like acts out in your head, you know?
Vlad needs flogged for real. True.
Well, someone better... Oh my god. Well, someone better... Someone better make a fucking decision. We're gonna get hurt this one. With Chad's eyes were bumming in his tears. What? Claire's eyes. Well, someone better make a decision soon, or we're really gonna hurt this one, Chad said. Claire's eyes were starting to fill with tears, and she looked genuinely terrified, and my heart broke for her. I can go call Pete, I remember Kelly saying. And this was before smartphones. It was the era of brick-like Nokias, and we all had cell phones, but we weren't glued to them, and we didn't bring them near water, so none of us had one at the pool. The only way Kelly could call Pete was by going inside. She told the boys that, and Chad considered it. Fine, I'll go with you, he said. Brad, Vlad, you watch these other lovely young ladies. He didn't say lovely young ladies, he said a nastier slur that I'm not going to repeat. Kelly, don't, I said. I'll call Pete and it'll be fine, she said, but her face said otherwise. Chad helped Kelly over the side of the pool and guided her to the back door, gripping her arm. She opened the sliding glass door, and I could see everything from the middle of the pool. I saw a flash of movement and heard a loud, shattering crash. Kelly had grabbed the lamp off that table just inside the door and smashed it right into Chad's face. He let out a huge, bellowing scream and staggered back, falling over one of the patio chairs, and blood was beginning to pour down his face. Thank God, I thought. But Kelly wasn't done. She came running back into the yard, screaming and calling for help at the top of her lungs, so loud the neighbors had at that point heard. Quickly, the rest of us joined in. Kelly charged at Brad, swinging something that she'd grabbed from inside. It was one of the golf clubs Dana's boyfriend, Chris, always left lying around. And Chris never got scolded for leaving these clubs out again after this. Kelly swung the club down hard, cracking onto Brad's forearm with a sickening... Secretly a model using a voice filter. Well, I appreciate you calling me a model. That makes it easy. Twerk and squirk. Kelly swung the club down hard, cracking Brad's forearm as he tried to defend himself. Chad was already bolting for that gate, and I swear I saw a shard of lamp sticking from his cheek. He ripped the gate open and ran, and Brad was stumbling out after him. It felt like only seconds later that the Peterson, Mr. Peterson from next door, and a couple of other old men. It felt like only seconds later that Mr. Peterson and a couple of other adult men rushed in. They're getting away, Kelly screamed, but the men were more focused on checking in on us. They really had no idea what was going on. Vlad, for some reason, had kind of just stuck around and was sort of standing there, dumbfounded. He's one of them, I told Miss... It sounded like it. He's one of them, I told Mr. Peterson. And one of his friends, who turned out to be some off-duty cop, grabbed this Vlad character and pinned him to the ground, and basically sat on him like a pro wrestler. It was pretty hardcore ending to a... And it was a pretty hardcore ending to a terrifying, horrible experience. We called the cops and told them everything. They spoke to Pete, who denied owing these guys anything, but he was able to ID them. They were juniors at our college, too. Trying to get them charged for what they did was tough, and... Oh, sorry. I am Victoria's Secret. She doesn't want you to know about me. You're ready to be fed, but without drywall this time. Sorry, that's all we got on tap at this point. Bits of drywall. Chaz, Tanner. Tanner is I don't know, is a funny name. Tanner. I've been getting Tanner by the day. I watched this one, well, my friends were watching it. I was like half paying attention. There was this movie called, it was like a horror movie called, what's it called? Let Me In? Not Let Me In, Talk to Me. Have you guys seen that? Talk to Me? Basically, it was like some mannequin hand or something, but it like possesses the person that says talk to me, and you can enter or something like that. It's like kind of like a creepypasta, and it just like possesses people and makes them go nuts. But the one chick in it, man, she looked like, I don't even know. She kind of looked like the dude from Fallout as far as like hairlines go. John Juan Guerrera. Welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you, my friend. The eye pulling scene was crazy. Yeah, the whole thing was pretty nuts. I just kept looking at her and I'm like, what the fuck? Why does she have like a spray tan? And why is her like a hair like slicked back like a dude? I don't know. It was very like odd. We called the cops and told them everything. They spoke to Pete, who denied owing these guys anything, but he was able to ID them. They were juniors at our college too. Trying to get them charged for what they did was rough, since the only ones injured were Chad and Brad. We were going to push for assault charges, but in the end, we settled out of court with their families. Their parents were super embarrassed by their dumbass sons. It wasn't a great payday, and no, it didn't feel worth it. I wish we would have done more to punish them, but at least the drug stuff wasn't something their families could buy their way out of completely. They avoided jail because, of course, money always talks, but they still got hit with some real consequences. Expelled, probation, all kinds of things, and they knew better than to ever come near any of us again. Chad also had a wicked scar from that lamp, I remember hearing. Cooler than he deserved, honestly, but I doubt he thought so. You'd think Kelly would break up with Pete after all of that, but no. I'm not kidding when I say they eventually got married and had a kid, and are still together to this day. We stayed in that house until our lease ended and then eventually moved out. Kelly and I stayed close, but the rest of the girls, including Janet, who hadn't been there that night, eventually drifted away. Kelly and I are still friends, and both she and Peter gave me permission to share this story, and you'll be glad to know that we've all settled down. Pete's a great dad, and both he and Kelly are nurses now. As for me, I'll keep that to myself. But I'll tell you one thing that I'm not. A swimmer. C78 with a 2. Hands are creepy. Yeah, it was kind of a cool little creepypasta idea. I don't know. I feel like that's all we get in horror movies anymore, is just kind of like creepypastas. Like, they never really feel lay epic anymore, you know what I mean? It definitely felt like a very TikTokian movie. I mean, I guess that's what the generation was, but I don't know. I'm gonna miss Chad, though. He was my favorite character I've ever done. Alright. So, that was was that story 3? I think that was story 3. What are your thoughts on the movie Terrifier? I saw both of them. I'll be honest with you, like, this concept, like I've talked about it before, but the big appeal of Terrifier was, like, practical effects, you know, and, like, just, you know, gratuitous violence using practical effects. But, I mean, I swear to God, like, all throughout, like, the 80s and 90s, I've seen some pretty goddamn good practical effects, you know, when it comes to gore fests. And as well as in the 2000s and beyond. And I don't know if it had just been like too long that people forgot that that was the case when it came to horror movies, but it's just kind of like, it was a very forgettable experience for me, especially just the character of like Art the clown or whatever. I don't know. Like, just killing for the sake of killing is like really not that exciting to me as far as the story goes. I feel like we've like blasted through these. It feels very strange. The Thing had the best practical effects. It was good. But I really like the Muppets. Thrillers than horror movies. Yeah, psychological thrillers to me are just more fun. I mean, as long as you can't guesstimate the ending. Boom. At first, Terrifier was a little crazy, but then I appreciated the insane makeup was something cool. Yeah. It was neat there, for sure. Okay, I am not sure. I'm fairly certain this is the last one we're reading today. Sorry. Okay, yeah. I feel like we've really burned through this, like, way too fast. But I guess it is what it is. Should I go get my magnesium? Okay, yeah, I guess that's where we're at. Poop screen. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Don't leave, please. I'm gonna go get some magnesium and I'll return.
Yahar! Please, nobody disrespect Israel. I have returned.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. All right. Let us continue onward, shall we? Do I eat organs? Sweet meats, you mean? Rip them out straight from the source. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Hello. Hello. I'm gonna parachute into Puerto Rico Fortnite style, and I'm just gonna go, hello. Okay. How close is this to the mic? Shite. Fucking shite. I think I'm older than your average listener. I'm 61 and this happened when I was 12 and Clarky was 11. I'm also English, as in from England, so I'm sorry in advance for anything that... Uh-oh, guys. We got an Englishman. I'm also Englished to the accent. Yahar, I'm from English. I'm also English, as in from England, so I'm sorry in advance for anything that entails. I'm weirdly nervous about writing this up, and I guess you don't need to know this, but I'll stress that this event has haunted me my whole life, and if I think about this too long, I actually start feeling sick, and I think it'll be pretty understandable why. I met Clarky when I was in primary school. We met in the infants, our first year at a small suburban primary school, and became fast friends on day one. From that day on, after I first found him playing with action figures on the playmat in the corner, we were inseparable. He was my best friend and I was his. We had other friends too. We were just normal, regular kids who became part of the normal, regular lads at primary school. In fact, if you'd asked me back then, I would have said that we were the popular kids, at least out of the boys. Always up to something, always getting into some kind of trouble or other. Nothing serious, though, and adults tended to love us quite a lot, just as much as the other kids wanted to be our friends. I was always more of the leader, and Clarky was more of a follower, but the relationship felt equal. We were partners in crime, and when it came time for us to move on to big school in the town... On to big school. Time for big school. Tea with crumpets, that does sound nice. What inspired you to start this type of content and channel? Probably making money, making $1 trillion billion. Sounded really cool, and I was like, let's do that. Yahar, to find the booty. We were partners in crime, and when it came time for us to move on to big school in the town, neither of us really had any reservations. Christ on a cracker, what naive little lads we were, though. If you don't know, the school system works a bit differently in the UK. We don't have middle school, just primary straight into secondary. This means that when you're 11, you suddenly shift to a much bigger, much more crowded school with other students as old as 16 or 18, depending on the school. All of a sudden, we'd gone from being kings of our little primary school to being tiny little squirts surrounded by hulking, terrifying monsters. We were not prepared, man. Just absolutely, completely out of our depth. We strolled up that driveway like kings, and with the passage of just one single day, came crawling back out, no more than broken, quivering wrecks. It's a huge crash down to earth to make the shift from primary to secondary, and to this day, I insist it's actively damaging for kids to have such... That does sound really scary. I remember I was scared of middle school, dude. Because, like, I remember, you know, when you're in 6th grade, people in graduating high school look like full-blown adults, you know what I mean? And, like, whenever, you know, even going from 5th grade into middle school, I remember seeing the 8th graders and being, like, terrified of them. Is the channel your main source of income? I also have, like, a little ice cream stand in town. I sit there all day between streams, just kind of like waiting for... Nobody ever buys any ice cream. It's a huge crash down to earth to make the shift from primary to secondary, and to this day... Fuck. Hey, Naomi, thank you. It's a huge crash down to earth to make the shift from primary to secondary, and to this day, I insist it's actively damaging for kids to have such a sudden, extreme transition. But I guess I would say that. Wait, what? It's just such a sudden, extreme transition, period. But I guess I would say that. Say that what? But big worm. Big wormy style. As a freshman in high school, I only had seniors as friends and was at a loss when they graduated. That would be quite hard. How the hell did you manage to make friends with seniors? Were they like your brothers or something? No, I want to know what everyone's favorite ice cream is. Yeah, we'll never tell ya. Magnesium, makes me sleepy. I'm just confused what this is grammatically, just at the end for no reason, period. But I guess I would say that, period. Like, is it supposed to start its own? Maybe it was like something additional that they forgot to add. But I guess I would say that. But at some point in the previous sentence, did they say they wouldn't say something? It's a huge crash down to earth to make the shift from primary to secondary, and to this day I insist it's actively damaging for kids to have such a sudden, extreme transition, period. But I guess I would say that. Like, were they not saying it previously? But even the inflection doesn't really make any sense. But I guess I would say that. Did someone else say not before? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna delete it. It doesn't make any sense. Your brothers were popular and graduated before I went to high school. I just told them that I was their little sister and was immediately accepted. Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I felt like I was gonna like say something important there, but yeah, that sounds fun, I guess. It's a huge crash down to earth to make the shift from primary to secondary, and to this day, I insist it's actively damaging for kids to have such a sudden, extreme transition. Clarky and I had simply assumed that all the kids from our primary school would be put in the same classes together, but they actually do the opposite. They spread students around to try and encourage them to make new friends, which just feels kind of cruel to me. In mine and Clarky's case, we were not only in separate houses, similar to a U.S. homeroom, but the 6 houses in our school were split into 2, so only students from 3 houses had classes together. Clarky was in blue and I was in red, which meant that we didn't even have a single class together. Thankfully, we still got to see each other at break and lunch, but damn, It was rough. And on top of that, we suddenly became deeply, painfully unpopular. I could speculate a million reasons why, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Both of us were severely struggling to make friends, and we wouldn't even stick to each other because we spent most of our days totally separate. Sure, we still hung out after school every day and on the weekends, but it just wasn't the same. It actually hurt. And when you're lonely and unpopular as a kid, you seem to become a beacon for even more trouble. And as such, Clarky and I became the targets of bullies. One group from my half of the year... Wait, what? Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on. Both of us were severely struggling to make friends, and it was good to stick together. Sure, we still got it to hurt. As such, Clarky and I became the targets of bullies. One group in my last year bullied me, and one from Clarky's bullied him. And usually never the twain did meet. Okay. Never did the twain. Okay. Guys, is anything else cool going on? You guys watch anything on YouTube that's just been tickling your fancy lately, and you're like, holy shit, I need to tell someone about this fucking shite? Do you own any of your merch? I think I have a few shirts that came out over time. I'm fairly certain at one point one of my friends like bought one and then just gave me the shirt, so that's how I got it. But I don't think I've ever really gone out of my way to buy my own merch. But yeah, why do I even have any though? I don't know. Discovery below the Great Pyramids. Oh, that'd be interesting. Praveen Mohan is one of my favorite. Interesting. What's that about? Sounds like computer programming. Are there boxers? I found. I don't know. You'd have to see on. What's it called? They might have that on Spreadshirt. Boxer briefs. I found out that a bunch of different channels live stream old Saturday morning cartoons with old vintage commercials in between. Oh, that's fun. Take you back to the days when you were young. Been watching true crime stories of police cam footage. That is pretty nuts. Okay. That actually would really put you in it, I imagine. Let's read thongs. They're coming out. They're already pre-pooped. Life is still putting immense on me every single day. Not much going on. Immense pressure. Most YouTube merch is ugly and unwearable. Yeah, if you ever have any ideas on what would be good, I mean, Spreadshirt's quality, I think, is pretty solid, though. It's not like those shitty... Do you ever, like, get those shirts that are shitty and you can literally pull off the design off of the shirt? It's just, like, so embarrassing how bad it is. You're really into Josh Johnson. Who's that? His comedic style? Oh, okay. Josh Johnson is the best current events comic out there, hands down. Interesting. If Noble and Miss Cookie like him, I believe. Chris likes his glute spreads. He's been doing 50 a night. Do I watch NHL? I mean, I like hockey, but I don't know anything about it, and I never, got into it when I was younger to, really have it in my day-to-day, but I would like to enjoy it, because I've gone to some games of hockey, and they are very cool, and I like when they fight and get aggressive. When you're lonely, damn it. When you're a lonely, unpopular kid, you seem to become a beacon for even more trouble. And as such, Clarky and I became the targets of bullies. One group from my half of the year bullied me, one from Clark's bullied him, and usually never the twain did meet. These little arseholes aren't even important. I don't even remember who they were, and I'm sure they grew up to become decent enough blokes. They were just some years sevens who... God, this is a lot of Britishisms. My brain's not ready for it. I don't even remember who they were, and I'm sure that they grew up to become decent enough blokes. They were just some year 7s who made our year 7 miserable, and they weren't the cocks, though. What? They were just some year 7s who made our year 7 miserable. They weren't the cocks, though. What the fuck does that mean? Like cool? Like the cool cockatiels? We have a minor hockey league here in Oregon, and the refs let them beat the crap out of each other. It's awesome. That's funny. Is that a band? They were just some year 7s who made our year 7 miserable. They weren't the cocks, though. So the only thing I can assume here is the Cocks is a band, right? And that they were referencing a lyric where it's like, we were year 7s, made all year 7 miserable, or something stupid like that. That's the only thing I can assume that this older folk is referencing right now. Whatever. They weren't just some year 7s who made our year 7 miserable. They weren't the cocks, though. And that's what Clarky and I called the group of year 9 boys, but only behind their backs when we were in the safety of my house or Clarky's. In school, we didn't call them anything. We didn't even make eye contact. Jake was a big, lumbering oaf who looked like he'd been a dumb arse. Oh my god, I don't know why. I made the text smaller. It should flow better. Jake was a big, lumbering oaf who looked like he'd be a dumb arse, but was weirdly creative in his scathing insults. Jonah was completely unremarkable in every way, except he had this cruel twinkle in his eye. Jonah had a tongue that could dish out insults, which hurt as much as any punch, and they would both do... God damn it, dude, I cannot fucking keep up. Bleh. The buzzcocks. And they would do both. They would insult and punch us, those two and a rotating group of others. God damn it. It feels like the sentences should be continuing with each other, but then it starts another sentence and it confuses the shit out of me. I had a twinkle nose. Jonah had a tongue that could dish out insults which hurt as much as any punch, period. And they would do both. And they would insult and punch us, those two, comma, and a rotating group of others, faceless. I don't know why. It just it doesn't flow well in my fucking head. A story, the kid goes down the alley. I do remember that one, though. I don't think this is it, though. Maybe. Jonah had a tongue that could dish out insults which hurt as much as any punch. And they would do both. They would insult and punch us. Those two, and a rotating group of other faceless friends they had. The sidekicks would change, but Jake and Jonah remained a constant threat. Always there, always needling, always kicking the backs of our shoes or pouring glue in an unattended school bag or cutting a necktie. If we were shoved on the stairs, you would be sure Jake and Jonah were nearby, smiling malevolently. If we were shoved on the stairs, you could be sure that Jake and Jonah were nearby, smiling malevolently at us. If someone threw a bottle at me, I could guarantee they'd be close by. Every fist, every jab, everything that really truly hurt, it all seemed to come from these two. It didn't matter whether Clarky and I were together or apart. They always seemed to find us multiple times each day and dish out some cruel and unusual form of punishment. I'm not sure they ever explained what we'd done to offend them so much. It was just an established, known thing that our existence disgusted them, and we would suffer for it. You know what bullies can be like, I guess. You've read enough stories about this vile... You know what bullies can be like, I guess. You've read enough stories about this vile, cowardly lot. But let me tell you, they were way worse in the past. And we hated school. Our first term there, from September through Christmas, was hell. Then the spring term was no better. Worse, in fact. How our parents didn't notice anything, I'll never know. It used to drive me mad for... God damn it. It used to drive... You get seasonal depression in the summer? How come? Isn't that when you're supposed to be feeling good? You can't be sad when it's summer. Come on now. Fair ya, thank you. Thank you very much. The whole state smells like garbage. Which state's that? Jersey? Joyzy. Why does it smell like garbage in Jersey? What the hell's going on with that shit? Also, I ate so much food today. I must have had like 4 meals. Yeah, people send them in. The Garden State, oh? What'd I eat? Oh man, it was just like everybody had a mix of all sorts of random shit. What's up, Doc? That, and then like mixed with like alcohol, mixed with candy, it was just like all the worst possible things I could shove down my gullet. And I think tomorrow I'm just not gonna eat, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit. It used to drive me mad how nobody would just notice the bags under our eyes, or how we'd become quiet and withdrawn and ask us what was wrong. God damn it. Come on, man. It used to drive me mad how nobody would just notice the bags under our eyes, or how we'd become quiet and withdrawn and ask us what was wrong. Why did I never consider just telling them? Why did I never consider just telling them something was up in the first place? You just didn't tell people back then. Dobbing someone in would lead to a fate worse than death. Jesus, dude, something's wrong with my fucking brain. Like, I just can't. I don't know, man. Seeing the Grinch when he's the cheermeister and they stuff his face with desserts. That was a good scene, yeah. Peeps made Dr. Pepper flavored Peeps. Anyone try them? I did see those. One of the kids at the egg collecting thing was eating one. I didn't get to try it though. Because as soon as, the one wanted me to open it for him, and I opened it for him, and then I gave it to him. I was like, can I have one? And then as soon as I took that out, another kid came up and said, can I have one? So I gave him that one. And then a bunch of other kids started coming like, can I have one? And then I didn't want to because then he was like, wait, not everybody can eat one. And then I just didn't take one because I didn't want to piss him off. So I just never got to try one. So, which is bullshit. So I'm going to go to their house in the middle of the night and break in and take one. Dobbing someone in would lead to a fate worse than death. Even people who still liked you would hate you if you dobbed someone in, even a bully, or so I thought. Absolutely stupid looking back. Anybody who'd behave like that wouldn't be worth caring about in the first place, but I guess it's easy to think with adult logic when you're an adult. Then the summer term came and we're introduced to something that we'd never even considered, the school pool. We knew that we had a school pool, of course. It was a big... God, dude, I cannot fucking make it through one stupid-ass paragraph. Holy shit. We knew we had a school pool, of course. It was a big building just separate from the main school, but it always seemed like something the other kids got to do and not us. Then, in summer term of year 7, we saw swimming on our lesson plan photocopies. Dude, these are... The English language from 20 years ago is like a different fucking language. Then, in summer term... Oh my god. Then, in summer term of year 7, we saw swimming on our lesson plan photocopies, and there was much rejoicing in my form room. There's so much shit, so much weird shit here. Summer term year 7. Photocopies. Form room. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm normally, a lot of my, like, reading is kind of based on the fact that I've seen shit before. But the fact that it's fucking British makes me crazy. Summer. Okay. It's all good. I'm just bitching about nothing. Good morning. What's happening? Then, in summer term of year 7, we saw swimming on our lesson plan photocopies, and there was much rejoicing in my form room. I didn't particularly care either way because I was so depressed in general because of the bullying, but that changed when I dragged myself to swimming class and found Clarky waiting there in queue outside the changing rooms. It turned out that our summer PE lessons were split by gender, so boys could do swimming while girls did netball, and then girls did swimming later in the week while boys did cricket. I hated cricket, but that's not the point. Swimming was fun, and it meant that I actually got to spend some time with Clarky in classes. It was about 5 swimming lessons in. We had our swimming lessons on Monday, and it was the last class of the day before home time. Clarky and I lingered in the changing rooms waiting for everyone else to leave before we showered and changed, because when you're a bullying victim, you soon... God damn it, now the sentences are too long. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too long, it's too big. I need it just right. Gonna start chewing aluminum foil during my root canal. Oh, you gotta get a root canal? That sucks. How can I concentrate? I can't, dude. But also I have this like deep desire that someone is gonna say something in the chat that sparks my interest, and so I secretly don't want to concentrate. It's like I've done this homework assignment 10 trillion times at this point. I guess that's what they call having a job, is just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you have that part of yourself that just really wants your coworkers to come up and start saying things to you that gets you distracted, and you're fine with it. No, you are interesting. I'm waiting for the interesting thing. I need you guys to talk to me about the world. Remember, I'm stuck in a computer. I don't exist. So you guys gotta, like, break me free of it. You guys gotta make me feel like I'm human. Kitty. You have sliced bread? Oh my god. Can you put anything on the bread? Clarky and I lingered in the changing rooms waiting for everyone else to leave before we showered and changed, because when you're a bullying victim, you soon learn not to do anything in front of others that could leave you vulnerable. In those days, there really wasn't much in the way of health and safety, so our PE teacher had gone off somewhere, probably hurrying for a cigarette and coffee. He'd even given us the keys to the changing room and asked us to lock up when we were done. And for all the bullying, adults still liked us, I guess. Man, Clarky said, swimming is fun. And we were still in our swimming trunks. We could go back in, I joked. Clarky's eyes lit up. Let's do it. And I was surprised and a little thrilled to see that old spark of life back in my friend, which is why I didn't think twice about just running back into the pool area and jumping in. I didn't really consider how much trouble we could get in for playing in the pool unsupervised. It hadn't really been drummed into us. When is the Wienermobile doing the West Coast tour? Dude, that would be so sick, actually, to do your tours around America in a Wienermobile. If I ever do, that's definitely what I'm getting. How can you just switch your voice to your reading voice? I don't know. I guess because I've done it a 10 and a million a time. You've been helping me through my Materia Medica homework. I'm on catnip at the moment, or Nepedicateria. That's cool. Cat Nipperton. Do you know anything in depth about the content cop drama? A YouTuber I watched deleted his video on the topic after being posted for 3 hours. I do, Sam. I do. I actually do. It's really embarrassing that I do, but I do. And if there's any specific questions you would like answered, I will actually answer them. It's very cool. It's very cool. It was a very big day for people who don't go outside. Let's just say that. Like, I was like so close to like leaning down and touching a blade of grass, and then I saw iDubbbz dropped a video, and I'm like, I gotta get back inside and watch these fucking idiots talk about nothing, and how the fact that they're in their 30s still bitching about how they're like not bestest buddies anymore or something like that. It's just like so embarrassing. I don't know. You don't even know what to ask. I mean, long story short, Ethan Klein from H3 was like bestest buddies and butt buddies and ran a podcast with like Hassan Pooper, and then they like were no longer friends anymore because of the Israel-Palestine thing and all that kind of stuff. And then for some reason, Ethan made a content nuke. It took everybody out about Hassan, which like is just all the stuff everybody knows about Hassan anyways, and that he's kind of an annoying prick and an asshole. But I mean, so is Ethan. You know, they're all, that's the funniest part, is all these idiots in this like situation are supposed to be like technically on the same side, working together like some fucking like, you know, Power Ranger Megatron combo that's supposed to take down all the Andrew Tates in the world, the monsters or something. But instead, they're like their lives are so fucking boring and dumb, that and filled with so much vitriolic hatred for themselves and everyone around them, that of course they couldn't help but finding some sort of like thing to fucking yell and argue about, even though they've been friends for years and worked together in professionality and literally been in proximity to one another. Of course they had to fucking start cannibalizing each other. And they're also just, I don't know, they're just embarrassing people in general too. They're old. Like, how do you get so worked up about like relationships with like people? And then I think the worst, okay, so long story short, from that point, Ethan made a nuke about Hassan, but nobody gives a shit because we all know Hassan's an asshole already. So it's like everybody that doesn't like him is going to keep not liking him. Everyone that, you know, does like him is going to keep jerking his dick and saying they like his fashion or whatever. And then for some reason, Ian, fucking iDubbbz, like, in all of his irrelevancy at this point, which I'm not trying to put him down or anything, but it's like, listen, we get it. Like, you were an asshole back in the day, like you were the bully of the bullies, as they say, for like, you know, the content cop era, the iDubbbz era, 2016 era. And then for some reason, I don't know, like he had sex with a girl and then got on medication or something and then suddenly became a different person, and now wants really, really badly to still be that same sort of vitriolic asshole bully that he's always been, but he wants to feel morally superior about it, so he's chosen to align himself with the left-leaning political spectrum, even more so with like those who never go outside and spend the majority of their time on Blue Sky and Twitter. And, you know, in that has leveraged his old fucking, you know, content cop brand in such an illogical way to then It's so stupid. He like, because you know no one's ever going to believe him anymore when he makes anything content cop related, because it wasn't a content cop. Like he could have just, what he should have did was just show a bunch of highlights of like H3 Ethan being a jerk, which probably wouldn't be that hard to find, and then be like, look, you're a jerkity jerk and a hypocrite and not a nice person. Let everybody make their decision. But instead, it was just like, it starts out with like a bunch of cringe shit where it's showing all of them just like, you know, like dancing on camera. And it's like, come on, man. We know this is, as soon as we saw H3's name on there, we knew it was going to be fucking stupid as shit. And then they continues on, and he finally gets in front of the camera, does his content, and the thing, and all it is just like, this guy used to be my friend. This guy used to be my friend, and now he's not my friend anymore. Why? And just so everyone knows, I'm not friends with him. I'm actually friends with Hassan. So if you see me on Twitter, know that I'm the good guy. I'm the bully that bullies the bullies. But I'm morally superior when I bully the people. You know, it's just, I think the worst part about all of it is like the hubris in all of it, that like for some reason Ian and iDubbbz thought anyone gave a fucking shit. For some like had to like frame and advertise the content cop nostalgia just to make a fucking long ass dumb video about how he's not friends with someone anymore. It's like, dude, could you not have done this over an email or something? Could you not have just like DM them or send them a text message or even snail mail at this point? Like, why did you have to involve the internet? And I guess in many ways you think, well, probably because you can make advertising revenue that way, and you can also maybe raise some money for their next boxing event, or raise attention as well for their boxing event. And who knows, at this point, with like how much of a circle jerk their like little menage a trois fucking losers is, like I would not be surprised if like they just coordinate their drama with one another. Because if you think about it, the only way that Hassan and Ethan, and now for some reason Ian, have any relevancy within like the social discourse outside of like making the Palestinian-Israeli war about them all the fucking time, instead of all the dead bodies that line the streets or anything like that. God forbid they talk about that instead of look at me. They have to fucking like create this like echo chamber of just like self-perpetuating drama that just feeds off of itself, and just like is just like the snake that eats its own fucking tail, just going in a circle and a circle and a circle endlessly. It's, oh my God, it's so fucking boring. It's so boring. Like, it's not like you're not even creating anything. Like, iDubbbz, go make some fucking documentaries. Those documentaries were good, bro. That was your evolution. That was your Joji, bro. That was your fucking Joji. He did a silly video in a pink suit, and he went and made music. The Max Mofo guy, I don't know. He opens cards or something. I don't know what the fuck he does, but he got married and he's happy. You were supposed to be the guy who evolves into making cool, interesting documentaries. You could start a Patreon or a Kickstarter. You know what I mean? Like you could be on the road all the time. You could get away from your wife that probably is making you a little weird. You know, it's like you could be out you could live your life. You could make cool, interesting topics and cover them, and you know, kind of have a laugh at them, because that's kind of how you frame most of them. And then he just, for some reason, isn't doing that. And I don't know why. Like, he's spending most of his existence, like, rotting on Twitter and being mad and associating with, like, the erosion that is leftist politics. And it's just embarrassing. It's just really, really embarrassing. And I'm not trying to be mean to him. I'm just saying there's so much potential there is what I'm trying to say. He's a creative. He's an intelligent person. But this is not it. This is not where you should be. You should be using your shit to make something, not react to stuff all the time. Reaction shit, sure, it makes money, but it's supposed to be a stepping stone for your creative energy somewhere else. And he's got that, but he's not doing it, you know? I don't know. It's fine, I guess, at the end of the day. None of it's going to matter in a week anyways. We'll be moving on to the next thing, you know? But it just would be nice if these people could take the power that they do have internal, and instead of just like And maybe that's it. Maybe the anxiety, the tweaks in their eyes that they have, the sensation of just being neurotic all the time. It's probably because they need to go outside and create something. Go forth, my friends, and make stuff. Like, be as God intended to you to be and replicate his spirit. And that spirit being creativity, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like, don't get off Twitter. It doesn't matter if, because the worst part is that none of those people that you think you're aligning yourself with and you're showing that you have some sort of moral superiority, none of them really matter. Like, people just care. Content is king. Make content. Make something cool, dude. Nobody cares if you're on the right side of a conflict that you don't even get to choose anyways. They're gonna blow people up fucking regardless of what you do. You might as well make some decent art, Oh, I got it. If you're gonna make documentaries, go to fucking... If you care so much about Palestine, go to fucking Palestine and make a documentary about it. That would be impressive of iDubbbz. If he went to Palestine right now and made a documentary about it, I probably would gain some respect in that case. I don't fucking know. That's probably asking too much. If he followed that advice, he'd probably end up dead. So please don't do that. But, I don't know, man. It's just all so silly. It's all skibbity riz, third leg, poop house land nonsense. Anyways. It hadn't really been drummed into us how dangerous it was, which I guess was a systematic failing in itself. But as long as we kept out of the deep end, it wasn't like we could get... I can't read worth shit, bro. But as long as we kept out of the deep end, it wasn't like we could get in much trouble playing in water, right? Barking laughs echoed around the pool room, and I surfaced to see Jonah and Jake strolling in from the changing rooms. They were fully dressed in their school uniforms, shoes on and everything. Why were they even here, though? Even in the warm water, I felt my skin go icy cold and goose-pimpled. Clarky whispered something to me in alarm. God. And that's not to say that I'm not immature in a lot of ways, too. I definitely am, but I don't know, seeing, adult people try to police each other's language, constantly, it's so weird. It's like they're trying to own each other, but they're also trying to, constantly seem like, I'm the do-gooder. I'm always the do-gooder. It's like, bro, there's a whole ecosystem of YouTubers who don't give a fuck about language, who do really well, who are funny and interesting people. There's actual professional individuals on podcasts who give their opinions about geopolitical stuff that's well beyond your guys' capacity to analyze. So, why do they care so much about each other? You know what I mean? What... That's the endless war right there. You're never going to get to the end of that because it's just stupid chasing stupid. It's just so pointless. I'm the do-gooderist. I'm the one that say the bestest words. I never offend anybody. I wake up every day and I never say a single bad word. I'm not iDubbbz anymore. I never say a single bad word anymore. I never was bad. I wasn't a 26-year-old fucking adult man sitting in my basement screaming slurs onto the camera. I've changed. Shut the fuck up, loser. Clarky whispered something to me in alarm. Well, if it isn't the little idiots, I remember Jonah saying. That's what he called us. Maybe they weren't as creative as I give them credit for looking back, but that's what they said. Ah, crap, I whispered. We were in the center of the pool, far from any of the exit ladders, and even if we did get out on the other side, Jonah and Jake were in front of the exit in the changing rooms. What's that idiot one? Jake, god damn it. This is fucking weird. I never offend anybody while talking like he is Down syndrome. Yeah. I don't know, man. People I think that's the weirdest thing about entertainment is just like everyone trying to like pretend like they're morally superior in certain senses, or that there's a certain type of language that you can only use within the entertainment realm. But then at the same time, if you've ever interacted with a single human being outside of entertainment, such as your family, such as a friend, such as the mailman that you pass every day, you realize that this like PC language that people like sort of obsess over, all the time, it's so meaningless, because clearly 99% of the population doesn't give a shit about what people say. So the obsession of trying to seem like you're at the tippity top of a pyramid of morality based on like your words, you're just it means you're the king of nothing. You are the king of nothing. You've impressed nobody. Nobody cares. And maybe when you do say a bad word that's a no boo, oh no, I said he who should not be named, everyone goes, ah! But that's like the entertainment of it, is that there's like a false sense of reality around the fact that words even have like meaning or anything like that, I don't know. It's all just strange, the realm of entertainment, and especially like this sort of sense of self-inflated ego that people that exist within entertainment even have, because it's like, why do you have that? You didn't do anything that impressive. And, I don't know. Just weird. You do RFK and you're gonna go straight Karen. Yeah, I don't know. It is a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Everything is a thing. Yes, Sam, if you would like any more breakdowns of pointless internet drama that have no outcome or no interesting plot points, please ask me at any time. I would be glad to be mad about it. Alright, where the hell are we on this silly story? Someone better get drowned. I shook my head again. Today's no idea what Clarky did it. Where the fuck even am I right now? Oh, crap, I whispered. We were in the center of the pool, far from any of the exit ladders, and even if we did get out on the other side, Jonah and Jake were in front of the exit to the changing room. What's that idiot one? Jake asked. Come here, Jonah said, and neither Clocky nor Clocky. Who are they? I don't even understand how they're talking. How are they talking to each other? Come here, Jonah said. Neither Clarky nor I moved. Jonah clapped suddenly and lunged forward like he was about to jump into the pool. He yelled again at us, telling us to come here. We're not going to hurt you, Jake said. Yeah, Jonah added, we think it's neat that you broke in here. Maybe you are sound. Sound as pound. God, ugh. Read like Eric Cartman. Quack. I can't do it. Okay. I keep losing my spot. I'm really sorry. Yes, Jonah added, we think it's neat that you broke in here. Maybe. Okay. We're not gonna hurt you, Jake said. Yeah, Jonah added. We think it's neat that you broke in here. Maybe you're sound. Sound as pound, Jake echoed. And we had to swim over there. What choice did we have at that point? If you ever went into a swimming pool in Britain in the 70s or 80s, you'll know that some of them had these drainage holes along the sides, covered by a metal or plastic grate. In some pools, I'd been in here before. In some pools, I'd been in before or since they were bolted down. In others, they were loose. At our school pool, they were supposed to be bolted down, but I guess this one had come loose because Jonah now lifted it up. Dare you to stick your head in the hole? Wait, who the fuck is who right now? Is that Jonah talking? I don't, or who the fuck is Jonah? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Dude, the fact that I gotta record all day tomorrow, I should not have scheduled it then, man.
Level out, Timmy.
At our school, they were supposed to be bolted down, but I guess this one had come loose because Jonah now lifted it up. Dare you to stick your head in the hole? He said, and the water lapped over the gap in the tiles, and I just shook my head. Come on, boys, Jake said. Be cool. We'll be nice to you if you do it. And I shook my head again. To this day, I have no idea why Clarky did it. Really, what could they have done to us? Did he genuinely believe our worst tormentors would suddenly stop bullying us and become our friends if he stuck his head in that hole? Maybe he simply didn't consider that his head might actually fit. Clarky was very, very small, even for our age, and I was over a head taller than him. He was a really small boy. What's down there? Jake jeered. Take a look. And Clarky surfaced. How? Just put your head in and look over the edge, Jake said. Clarky leaned forward again into the hole and he let his body float up so his face angled down. Quickly, Jonah shoved the grate down, pushing Clarky's head further into the hole. Clarky began to flounder and splash, trying to twist and turn to surface to get some air, and I swam beside him, yelling, "Let him out." Jonah stood with his foot on the grate, head thrown back, laughing like some supervillain. Clarky failed and splashed and was starting to panic, flailed and splashed. Pool generator filter thing. Yeah, I don't know, from back in the day, I guess. We're recording tomorrow. It's just another project. But it's just gonna take a long. It's probably as long as I've been recording tonight, which probably end up being like 4 hours or something. But then I have to edit, and I really need to like get back into the gym. It's been a solid 2 weeks and I feel like a solid pile of shit. And I'm gonna do large amounts of squat below parallel for tremendous amounts of weight. Clarky flailed and splashed and was starting to panic, and Christ, how did Jonah not see what could happen? I don't think he meant for it to happen. Well, I know he didn't, but still, it did. Clarky struggled hard, jerked and twisted in the water, and suddenly we heard a muted yet clearly audible, clearly awful cracking sound. It was the worst thing I'd ever heard. Almost immediately, Clarky stopped moving entirely. His body started to drift down, and his head still caught in the grate, the angle almost impossible. Jake noticed before Jonah did. Jonah was still standing there, pinning Clarky in place, and Jake tugged his sleeve and gestured to Clarky. Jonah went immediately still and suddenly white. It was like immediate shock had hit him, and I could see him starting to shake. He stared at me, dead in the eyes. "Please don't tell anyone," he said, and he looked like he was about to cry, and then he and Jake ran off. Please don't tell anyone. No threats, no rage, just him begging me not to tell. I ripped the grate off and pulled Clarky free, but of course, it was too late. His neck rolled limply on his shoulders, and the angle had somehow led to him breaking his own neck as he tried to free himself. I thought Jonah and Jake had simply run away, and I was shaking myself, crying, cradling Clarky in my arms, trying to work out what the hell I was going to do. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait long because they returned, the PE teacher and another teacher in tow, and they'd gone to get help at least. There was no opportunity for Jonah and Jake to pretend that they're... Damn, dude. How the hell did he break his neck? What did he dry? Like, he broke his neck from pulling, or... There was no opportunity for Jonah and Jake to pretend they weren't there or weren't involved. They'd clearly known to go and get a teacher, which made it obvious they knew something. In the aftermath, my dilemma was whether I should tell anyone that Jonah had essentially killed Clarky, my best friend. In the end, I went along with the story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool. In the end, I went along with the story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool, and Clarky had stuck his head in the grate for a dare and got himself stuck, and... God damn it, dude. I'm gonna have so many fucking mistakes here. Oh shit, dude. I actually have to edit this. Well, I guess I don't technically have to. I just have to remind myself not to clear my microphone before recording later. What do I think about Jack Doorheady? Okay, so that's the kid. He's got like the broccoli haircut, and he drove a car real fast and crashed it. And he has like a security guard and like bothers people and like tries to bait them into like fighting him or something. But I didn't think that he was still within the YouTube zeitgeist anymore or whatever. I don't know. It's really strange because, like, the broccoli haircut is something that I see, but it's never, like, with college-age kids. It's always with, like, high school kids, which is really weird to me. You would think it's become, like, such a meme that nobody would be getting broccoli haircuts. You think they would get, like, maybe like cauliflower instead or something. Thoughts on Cybertrucks? I think Cybertrucks are really gross looking, and I don't really think Tesla as a company is just a great quality of car. I think it's a waste of your money. All of those electric cars are a waste of your money. If anything, maybe like you get a hybrid just so your engine can switch over to battery whenever you're coasting on the highway or some shit, or, you know, just going at a slow speed. Because the cost of replacing a fucking, you know, battery, which is going to happen, isn't it upwards in like the $25,000 range or something? Am I a car guy? I'm not really a car guy. I'm kind of a point A to point B type person. As long as it's safe, I really don't want anyone looking at me or like seeing my car and being like, who's this asshole? Because it's just, I don't know, it's just never really been my vibe, to be honest with you. Homer Simpson mobile. Oh, they look like dumpsters and mistake them for dumpsters when I see them. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't know. They look like the opposite of maneuverable. And I would love to think that like inside is just like some sort of, you know, wild orgy party or something like that, but I've never sat in one, but I can imagine it's probably not that pretty inside if that's what they designed on the outside. Be nice to see some different colors. Every color I've seen has just been like Master Chief green. Why are kids getting perms? Why are some of... I don't know. I do not know, honestly. Because it's like, I get like when people follow trends, but it's really lame looking and not cool. It's kind of the same way in like Australia, where there was so many kids who had like mullets and stuff. And they kind of make it work because they tend to be associated with like athletics. Like if you were to play Australian footy bowl or whatever, I don't know, they just, you know, everybody's just a dirtbag, kind of have the dirtbag look or whatever. And I'm like, that's fair. You're getting drunk and jumping off fucking rope swings into a river filled with crocodiles. You can have a stupid gay haircut if you want to. In the end, I went along with that story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool and Clarky had got his head in the grate for... God damn it. In the end, I went along with that story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool and Clarky had stuck his head in the grate for a dare and got stuck and hurt himself. I didn't say Jonah had been standing on the grate at the time. And maybe this is the wrong time, but I do genuinely believe Jonah was remorseful, and it would have ruined his life if I had spoken up. Maybe he'd have. What the fuck are you gonna do if the grid goes down for 3 days? Oh, I'd be screwed, bro. I'd probably have to immediately cook Pradeep. I'd have to eat him raw, turn him into sushi. Sorry, buddy. Are you expecting the grid to go down pretty soon? Keep trying to convince my 10-year-old to get one and he tells me how lame I am. Oh, you want him to have a broccoli haircut? I mean, I don't know, dude. You just gotta let him pick out one off the internet or some shit. Or just let his barber make him look cool. Chicken Jackie. Also, did you see that 4chan was down? Or like got hacked or down? Maybe we talked about that last time, I don't remember. But I was looking a little bit more into it. And it was kind of interesting because it essentially means that all of the admins or whatever that run it were... like their information is going to get doxxed, which I feel obviously is not good. You don't want people's info to get doxxed, but it's like, I think some of the emails were associated with like edu, which might mean what? Like the people who are modding it are in college and they just use their college email or something? Or is it all just like a fucking one big glowy experiment or something gone wrong? I don't know. Like, imagine if we ended up finding out that 4chan was actually created at Stanford. 4chan is just another DARPA project. We wanted to make the funniest image board around and see how dank our memes could get. Crafting table. His parents could never look at me or speak to me again. His own parents could hardly look at me for a while, although they never directly suggested they thought that I was to blame for anything. The bullying did stop, though, I feel like I missed something. I think I was really believed. God, I'm sorry. I have to go back like a little bit again and just try it again. We're going to do the whole story over again. 4chan frightens you. I've been there like twice. Chills. 4chan sucks because it's just like, it's so disorganized. You go there and like, you know, at least with Reddit, even though Reddit is, you get, I don't know, like at least with Reddit, it's like you can upvote and organize the best posts based on upvote. But like 4chan, like it was, I remember going to like X, which is their paranormal board, and that's like where you get like some really weird stories and like paranormal stuff. But you know, it's all just like really low effort posts and you can't find anything good, so it's just like pointless existing on there. Maybe this... Oh my god, I just can't read, bro. We're so close to being done. Maybe this was the wrong thing, but I do genuinely believe Jonah was remorseful, and it would have ruined his life if I'd have wait, I don't remember where the fuck we left off. I'm sorry, guys. In the end, okay, we're just gonna go back to that. In the end, I went along with that stupid story. Okay. In the end, I went along with the story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool, and Clarky had stuck his head in the grate for a dare and got himself. Jesus, I always skip 9 words ahead. In the end, I went along with the story that we'd all been screwing around in the pool, and Clarky had stuck his head in the grate for a dare and got stuck and hurt himself. I didn't say Jonah had been standing on the grate at the time. Maybe this was the wrong thing, but I do genuinely... Maybe this was the wrong thing, but I do genuinely believe Jonah was remorseful, and it would have ruined his life if I'd spoken up. Maybe he'd have deserved it. As it was, I don't think anyone really believed my story anyway. Instead, they just thought all 3 of us had killed Clarky. His parents could never look at me or speak to me again. My own parents could hardly look at me for a while, although they never directly suggested they thought that I was to blame for anything. The bullying did stop, though, going forward. Not just from Jake and Jonah, but everyone. In fact, more than once I saw a few kids look at me with a mixture of fear and awe. I'm not sure if this was because they thought that I'd snap someone's neck or because Jonah and Jake threatened anyone away. Why does that sound weird? Oh, fuck, man. I don't know if it's Britishisms in general or just British writing, but I fucking cannot. It's the same language. I speak the same language. But there's just always minor shit in it that's just a deviation that confuses me. Do I respond well to threats? I guess I shoot out a black goo and just, while the predator is distracted, I get away. I'm not sure if this was because they thought I'd snap someone's neck or because Jonah and Jake threatened anyone away from giving me crap. I can't, I feel like I'm not sure. Okay, that's a full sentence. Sorry. Fucking Christ. I'm not sure if this is because they thought that... I don't know. Maybe I'm cooked from the day. Maybe my brain is just cooked and I've ate so much fucking chocolate egg. It's probably the chocolate egg up my ass right now. It's not helping. I'm not sure if this was because they thought I'd snap someone's neck or because Jonah and Jake threatened anyone away from giving me crap. Either way, it's nearly 50 years later. God, I'm old. And I still miss my best friend. He didn't deserve what happened to him. He was the sweetest, kindest boy, and he simply wanted to be liked. But now he's dead, and I've never spoken up about exactly how he was killed. I have no idea what became of Jake and Jonah after they left that school, and I've never made any attempt to find out. I hope they made something of their lives and that Jonah hasn't wasted the opportunity I gave him by staying quiet, so that I can at least believe Clarky would approve of... Jeez, dude. An inkling. I was denied Dr. Pepper Peeps. I know, those greedy kids, bro. Dude, it is, honestly, it's actually kind of scary how possessive kids are of candy. Some of the nicest ones, you're like, can I have some? They're like, I'll fucking cut your goddamn throat, you son of a bitch. You fucking old piece of shit. Get away from me and let me have my sweets. I hope they made I hope they made something of their lives, and that Jonah hasn't wasted the opportunity I gave him by staying quiet, so that I can at least believe Clarky would approve of my decision. Yeah, They're addicted to the red dye 40. Give me my doctor, pepper peeps. Give me my Dr. Pepper. I can't roll the R's at all for peeps. Alright, fuck me, dude. I guess we're done. I'm gonna read the outro quite quick, so please think of something motherfucking funny to say at the end of my spooky video. This is I'm falling apart half time. This is hallowed be thy gains. God, dude. Does anyone have any suggestions? Well, yeah, I don't know. For calisthenic stuff, like, you can get bigger, or like get a solid amount of muscle from doing calisthenics. I'm just curious if anybody's been doing it for a while and has had success on a particular program. And is it as successful as like bodybuilding or powerlifting? Chocolate truffles are best when listening to Let's Read. Read. I can't do it. Fuck the fact that I cannot just like roll R's comfortably. Run. Read. Try Zumba. I love those videos where like somebody's like he's like, I'm doing a superset, and he's like hits biceps and then just like walks over to a Zumba class and like immediately joins in their like choreographed movement. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. EST, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and maybe even hear your story featured in the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, I can speak Canadian. And remember, Dr. Peppers. Dude, if I do it, I have to do it right. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, Dr. Peppers peeps. Oh, that was so bad. Roll. You really have to sound like a Viking. I couldn't believe it. Alright. Guys, I love you. Appreciate you. I will be back streaming on Wednesday night. So go follow my Twitch and all that stupid shit. And I will see you guys in the video tomorrow, but I'll get this up on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access to Patreon. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night or whatever the fuck. Bye-bye.